We are live. We are live. We're streaming. We're on the tubes. I might be frozen, but y'all are good.
You
Guys,
unfroze. Elsa, calm down. Slow
yeah,
down there,
right.
Frozen.
Let it go.
Let it
Let it go.
go.
Yeah, I can tell
Guys,
I can tell your connectivity is better today. So
yeah, yeah. Well,
Definitely.
welcome to Whiskey Wednesday, Volume 9, folks. Those of you joining the replay crew, you're getting to see the intro here. And with me, as always, is my brother ACR.
Good evening.
And we got our special guest this week, none other than our brother DJ the Metalhead Mercenary. Welcome, sir.
hello, thank you for having me.
My cat was doing that
it.
same thing a minute ago. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't nearly.
You
as
have a
cool.
cat?
No, I don't. I was just saying.
I have a cat.
I got
love my
5.
cats.
Yeah, 5. I've got a Stella.
Stella.
You got a Stella, and you have a
Harry.
have a Haribo.
A Haribo. Yeah.
And
Who's not up here with me?
Here in the chat this evening, we already have Krista, Demo Man Dawn, Justin, Lawfully, and Grit and Grace.
Awesome.
Welcome, folks.
I don't have this chat. Where's my chat? Hold on here.
I always pull up the chat on the phone. So
yeah, okay. No, I got it going here. I was on the wrong one. I was like, there's nobody saying anything.
Well, here we go. Okay.
Good evening.
We're here. Hello, hello, hello.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Robert in here. Bobby B, welcome.
All the folks. The chat's running a little slow, like you said on the.
All the cool kids are here, though.
They are.
All the cool kids are here already, which is awesome.
What's my?
Uh-oh.
He just dipped out. What's my chat name come up like?
It says, let's go ahead and type something and let's see what it comes up. So on the screen, it's showing DJ the Metalhead Mercenary. Mine usually just comes up as ACR.
Oh, okay. Just gonna come up.
Yeah, it comes up as DJ.
Cool.
So, well, we lost Metal here for a minute, which is interesting because he just got his internet upgraded, I think.
Yeah,
we
were kind of troubleshooting some stuff yesterday because I don't the secure web browser that I use isn't compatible with Riverside. So we were going to try and use StreamYard, but it was giving him the runaround, and we were trying to figure some other things out though, kind of like working on some stuff. And I was like, well, check your drivers, and things like that. Cause I mean, because it seems like all the other connectivity is fine on his end, and he's got good up and down with data stream and stuff for internet. So I was like, it's got to be something else going on. It's either on their end with just live streaming and just the larger load of data that comes with that, or something with a network card or some driver, So I was like, check all those. It seems to be running better, but he just lost everything. So I don't know if he lost power again or what, but
yeah. I'm losing. Are you still seeing activity in the chat? If someone's in the chat throwing something out there, it's not.
I'm not seeing anything
going here. I might. Might do something wild. Let's see.
We're still live, so.
Yep, that's still going. Yeah. Oh, yep. See, okay. I brought it up on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, he just threw something in the chat here.
Okay, there we go.
Yep, he's coming in. So, TMT, good evening.
Hello. So, okay. Yeah, there's just a little delay on it. Okay.
So we've got, just recapping, Krista, Demo Man Don, Justin Heights, Lawfully Armed, Grit and Grace, Robert Ham, Bobby B, Big Bearded Warrior, TMT, and then Metal is in the chat there. We got all the cool kids. We're gonna give Metal a minute to join us again here. See what's going on there. I'm gonna look at this now. Now the chat's catching up. This is ridiculous. Okay,
yeah, it's weird.
I don't know. So why don't you show off your beer? Show off your beer there.
Yeah, we will be talking about the camo here shortly. So I am drinking. It is a Greens gluten-free Tripel, 8.5 horsepower, 8.5% alcohol by volume, brewed in Belgium imported by a UK company to the US, so it is a proper triple, just gluten free because I have to drink that, not by choice. But these are really good actually. So,
And he's back.
And I'm
He's
back.
back.
Yeah, I went through my computer, checked all my drivers, updated graphics, updated my internet, up card, everything. Like everything is brand new and high performance crap. I dropped a grip ton on doing this. And I've scanned my network. Everything is good on my end. Everything from my house here to all this is perfect. So now that I'm back, this is the new whiskey of the night for me. Noble Oak Double Oak Bourbon. It's a 45 horsepower, so pretty good. It is started off in like New American oak casks, and then they switch it over to cherry staves to finish it.
Mm,
Oh, amazing! Super
Nice.
mellow, delicious.
nice.
And
Excellent.
yeah, if I go down here, I can hit up in the chat down there. So
Cool.
Cool.
I will
am
keep
in-
coming back. I'm gonna be like that bad rash.
That's what I tell people. I'm like a rash. I grow on you.
Griff Brooks knows a thing or two about rashes.
That's right. I've got the real ale, real heavy Scotch ale tonight. This one's coming in at 9.3.
Hell yeah.
And then I'm well, everyone's seen the bottle. We'll be finishing this tonight. I've got some 1835 whiskey. Almost brought up the Lead Slingers, but I was already running late. Chat, thank you, crew. Thank you, both DJ the Metalhead Mercenary and Metal for allowing me to be late. And I hate being late. It makes me ill. But fuck you. I was gonna say fuck Houston traffic. Oh, the hounds have
He
joined
meant
me.
it. He even meant it
That's right.
in cursive.
Hello, hounds. They're in here. So oh my gosh, we got all the folks in here. So Metal, why don't you
Hell yeah.
lead the way there?
All right. Well, we wanted to bring DJ on because he's got a lot of cool shit to talk about. And now that we got things kicking off, I'm going to start off with something fun. We're going to talk about metal a little bit. All right. Since I am metal and he's the metalhead mercenary, and he's a metal musician,
Yep.
and an amazing one at that.
Thank you.
There are so many sub-genre types of metal music out there. What is, in your opinion, is like a good type of metal music for somebody to get into that doesn't listen to metal?
Ooh.
To ease in.
Because
you and I both know it gets really hardcore.
Oh yeah, and I love my extreme metal,
Yes.
Variances and subgenres. So I would say start with some of the classics and work your way in. Start with some of the thrash metal, fucking Slayer,
Pantera.
Yeah, Pantera. Iron Maiden, and then you can ebb and flow your way into hearing Cannibal Corpse and Suffocation, and even some grind like old Napalm Death and stuff, or one of my favorite old school death metal bands from Sweden is Unleashed. Them, Grave, Incantation, whatever's your flavor, because obviously you've got thrash, you've got some of the hair and glam stuff, you've got your old death metal and all that, and then first wave black metal, whether it's Venom or if you really want some staticky lo-fi stuff, early Emperor or whatever. I mean, the world's your oyster, but I would say start with some of the classics and work your way into it, or some of the crossover fusion stuff when it comes to like certain types of metalcore, or what's that one band, Sleep Token, that's really popular right now. I'm not a fan of them, but
that was going to bring me to my next thing.
Yeah, I was just say a lot of clean singing there, and that can kind of work somebody into where harsh vocals are a persistent and consistent thing.
Right.
You know, just things like that. But yeah, I mean, you
I'm a
gotta.
big fan of like the Viking metal,
Oh yeah,
Amon Amarth, Brothers of Metal,
yeah. It,
Unleash the Archers, that kind of stuff.
and Sephirum, however you want to
Yep.
pronounce it. One of my favorite bands in that genre is Mythotin from also
Yes.
from Sweden.
Yep.
But they're not around anymore. They have a power metal band called Falconer now.
Yeah.
And pretty good for power metal, you know, and then other power metal, Sabaton and stuff, you know.
Oh, Sabaton. Hell yeah.
Exactly, you know.
Hell
So
yeah.
there's such a diversity and such a wide range based on, you know, what earworm catches you, you know, that you find interesting, and kind of you'll go into that rabbit hole eventually and find a bunch
And
of stuff,
I
especially
found
with
a lot of people that listen to pop, they start getting into new metal.
yeah, I'm not a big new metal fan, but yeah, I mean
There's
the
quite a bit I
poppiness and
like because I can listen to it with like the girls and stuff like that. Like my kids will listen to it,
oh sure,
but then
yeah.
I'm bringing on the Black Death.
Yeah. Oh, I love my Black Death, Black
Yeah.
and Death metal and stuff. Yeah, what early age for me, you know. Remember, like, you know, hearing Slayer and stuff back in the day, and then as that progressed, and then obviously Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, the first Ace Ventura movie, Cannibal Corpse is in it, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is amazing. I need more of this in my life, you know, at a fairly early age, and you know, just stuff like that, and just coming across CDs and stuff, and then back in the day, the advent of with digital cable, like Comcast and stuff, they had those music channels, and they had a metal one, and I was like first times hearing like Nile and stuff, you know, listening to that, and the good heavy like Nevermore and like, you know, all kinds of
Yes.
stuff, and I was just like,
Right.
that's awesome, you know, I need more of this, more of everything,
Right.
and
And I was going to ask you about Sleep Token because they're kind of all over the place. Like some people don't want to call them metal. Some people like don't even want to call them like rock. They want to just call them pop. Okay,
I,
coming from a drummer's perspective, too, is fucking amazing.
their
He's a
drummer
great
is good.
drummer.
Yeah, their
He's a
drummer is
great
good.
drummer.
I can't do the clean vocals. It's that type of clean vocals not my thing. But yeah, I'm not on. I don't listen to them at all. But musically, they great musicians, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that. But no, I would consider them. I would consider them crossover. You know,
Yeah.
pop metal, pop rock. You know,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
You know,
Another
classification.
band that there's mixed reviews on. I really like them, and they're a Pennsylvania band. Motionless. Love Motionless in White.
Yeah, I couldn't get into them either, you know. But like older metalcore that became very poppy or very it had its mainstream heyday, its golden era,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak, you know. And but I mean a whole range of bands there, whether it was August Burns Red or Parkway Drive or
Parkway Drive. Yes.
and then I like some of the more underground stuff, you know, As Hope Dies, Conducting from the Grave, one of my all-time favorite metalcore bands, more on the technical melodic
Yeah.
side. You know, just a whole range of that, you know, Embrace the End. And then some of that crossed over into proto deathcore, early first wave
Mm-hmm.
deathcore too, Knights of the Abyss, Salt the Wound, you know, all those kinds of banger bands.
And then we have Dragon Force.
Yeah, and they're power metal, straight
Power
up
metal, baby.
power metal. Yeah.
We are totally talking above so many people's heads. They have no idea a lot of the stuff we're talking about.
I've been sitting here waiting for you to rattle off Neil Diamond. So
Hall and Oates, what?
right.
Who said what? Lawfully Armed. What? No Linkin Park. I mean, everybody ended up listening to their first album, you know, back in the day. I met those guys because for a time I worked as a stagehand seasonally at a major outdoor venue called Alpine Valley Music Hall, which was the last venue that Stevie Ray Vaughan played at before his crash and died. Fun fact, back in the day. But I worked there seasonally for a couple of years, and I did sound tech and stagehand for the Project Revolutions tour back in the day. So I got to meet Chester and the Linkin Park guys. I met Chris Cornell at that same thing when Audio Slave was together.
Yep.
Met the Hawthorne Heights guys, like, you know, a bunch of bands like that. I've met Jimmy Page there too at a different at a different show. Yeah, really cool experiences. Really nice guys, but Linkin Park's just not my type of music. So
I'm gonna go on record here, straight on the interwebs on YouTube's, when I say the new iteration of what they're calling Linkin Park is absolute dog shit.
Oh yeah, it's not great. No.
Just saying. I'm a Chester purist.
Robert.
Chat's pretty active. We had Randall's Little Adventures join us. Team Quack Attack. I saw a
Jackson's
couple
in there.
Yep. Big Bearded Warrior in here hanging. Like I said, all the cool kids in here tonight.
And if you haven't done so, go check out his book. Go get his books.
Yes, it's on Amazon.
Great
right?
read.
I'll have to we'll have to talk about my books at some point too, because I'm a published author as well. That's awesome though. Yeah.
Talk about it right now. Perfect segue.
Yeah.
So I write books for the security industry. It's all security industry related stuff. So myself and a buddy of mine, Robin, who is he lives over in the Netherlands, so he's kind of got that European perspective on things. He's a security and search and rescue specialist over there, and has his own responder professional development business as well. He and I have written 2 books so far together. We have 2 more coming out. The first one is kind of a long-winded title, but it's just, you know, physical security introduction for people, for small business owners, people studying security and getting into it, you know, and for other people in business and otherwise that just don't understand the nuances of physical security and how it's necessary and how it works in various ways for the business, for your organization. And then the other one we have out is just it's a template form book. So for report writing, incident reports, like all that stuff, it's just a template to take notes in with a bunch of pages. And then we got 2 other books coming out. One of them is the next one to be published, and that's a baseline standard set of SOPs, best practices, SOPs, and TTPs for anything across the board as a reference guide for security personnel, ship leaders, for companies to utilize, whatever. So how to handle a bomb threat, how to handle various mechanisms of injury with medical stuff, how to PCC, PCI, how to check your equipment, how to, you know, do all the things. Like everything is in there comprehensively. We're just finishing up some graphical design stuff that's implemented into the book right now, and then that'll be published. And then a book after that we're working on right now is it's also kind of it's partly a planner, partly a reference guide for people that go out hiking, backpacking, you know, camping and all that stuff. It's also a search and rescue tool. But it's got planner information in there, how to do area study, how to plan your trip, how to, you know, it's got everything form wise in there for emergency contact information, like all that stuff. And then information on what you should pack, you know, how to do this, how to do that, you know, what happens if you get stranded, like all kinds of things, you know, communications, tick identification, everything, you know, we're putting all that in there.
Very
too.
cool.
Those are 2 books that we got coming out as well in the future. So, but yeah. So
I actually have a book coming out as well.
nice.
It's nowhere near as cool as you guys's. It's titled "Will It Fit" by Girth Brooks.
Yes. It's funny because I got a book too. It's called "Bet It Won't" by Johnny Depp.
There was a second volume we were talking about here the other day. Johnny Depp was going to release called "Reach in the Back."
Yeah.
That's
That's
great.
awesome. Well, since we were talking about a little bit of it here, the security stuff,
Yep.
you've done a lot of different types of security.
Yep.
Like PMC, private security, all of that kind of stuff. Would you like to talk about that to the degree that you're able?
Oh yeah, sure. So I was in the Army. I was Army infantry from 2005 to 2008.
11
And
bang
then-
bang.
Yep, 11 bang bang. We were talking about it yesterday. Camp Al Soccer, Fob Falcon in 07. And yeah, so got out of the army, not by choice. It was a medical thing. You know, getting injured and, you know, all the stuff that comes with doing that job. And that
You and me
time,
both.
yeah, exactly. So got out, took a couple of months off, and then basically went right back into security work. First two security gigs after I got out. I did a security at a golf resort for a very short time, and then I was a security coordinator for a couple of establishments that had like high end uh, dress code martini bars and stuff in Milwaukee and Chicago. And then that didn't last very long, and I was like, okay, it's not what I'm looking for, obviously. So started doing executive protection and moved into private military contracting, private sector defense contracting, and so kind of on and off trading between the two, doing PMC rotations and then executive protection, and did that up did not technically till 2012 because it was after that, but 2013 I went back to college and got my criminal justice degree, an advanced associate's applied sciences degree in criminal justice and stuff. That's for, you know, it looks good for the security industry and
Right.
helps
Good on
with
the resume.
yeah, exactly. It looks good on the resume and accolades, you know, for when publishing books and stuff. Um, but I was already working those contracts and stuff. But yeah, so five deployments to Iraq in private PMC contracting on the WIPS contract, the Wire Protective Services contract. First rotation was mobile and static guard, and then moved over into ERT, Emergency Response Team, also called TST, Tactical Support Team. Uh,
Mhm.
a multi-tool of different capabilities and things that we do on that contract. Um, and then executive protection, and I was kind of around the U.S. doing that, and then Central and South America doing that as well. So bouncing between the Middle East, the U.S., and Central and South America, and I did that for a long time, and then um, contract scaling back was happening around that 2017 time period, 2018 time period. So then I shifted into what's called the Federal Protective FPS contract, Federal Protective
Yep.
Service contract. And so that's with Homeland Security, FEMA, and the DoD. Started working that. That's partly uniformed, and then I was also still on an ERT for that as well in that capacity, and that encompasses force protection, federal site protection, stateside, as well as emergency response, disaster response, things like that, and then further ERT capabilities and kind of what we do there. So, kind of doing a lot of that stuff all over the place, and did that up until 2022, and got out at the beginning of 2022, just because that contract really wasn't all cut out to what I wanted it to be, and especially just some of the stuff that was going on between the Biden administration and then within the company at the more localized level with various people. It just wasn't my bag, so I was like, I'm out. So now I work as a senior security advisor, physical security senior advisor, and consultant for a couple of security companies. And I go around and do threat and vulnerability assessments, uh, physical security assessments at client sites and stuff. Occasionally I'll do executive protection, but that's not very often now.
Right.
And then aside from that, started my camouflage business brand this year. So doing that now too. So hopefully, if that, I'm trying to get that to take off as quickly as I can and everything. And if it goes as well as I think it's going to, and as the reception has been from the general community and the public and stuff, I won't have to do security work after that. I'll probably still do a little bit, but even right now, I'm a subcontractor, you know, senior advisor.
Right.
So it's not like it's a consistent thing for me. I have a lot more time to do music stuff, graphic design, and focus on the camo brand.
Right.
So that's kind of the progression of things as they were for me. So
And you brought a couple things up that I wanted to get into.
yeah,
First off, talking about the security element of things, like when
yeah,
you were doing the FPS stuff, I've
yeah,
delved into FPS myself,
right.
um, but that was 1800 years ago. Um, you talking about the timeline there? You were doing FPS during the Summer of Love.
Yep, yep.
Now, with what you saw there in your wheelhouse, so to speak,
Yeah.
with what you're seeing now? Correlations, predictions.
Yeah, I mean, like what's happening with the protests right now? Obviously, you're seeing some degree of severity akin to the Summer of Love, but it's still not as bad. I mean, people aren't destroying, half of their city, burning everything down. When I was during the Summer of Love back 2020, I got that night that it kicked off. I had to go post. I got assigned to post up at a federal courthouse, which was less than a block away from a foot traffic thoroughfare area where the main bulk of the protest was going on in the city I was in. And I was by myself. So you can imagine how that went. It was bad because right across from us was a large performing arts theater, and like that whole sidewalk, like the Antifa would come off of that thoroughfare area where all the protest was happening, and they were burning buildings down and stuff, and smashing bank windows in, raid the ATMs, and like all kinds of stuff was happening. They were setting up milk jugs and stuff to pour in their eyes and stuff from the tear gas and everything. So I was watching that happen, and then they were kind of looking over at our building, the building that I was at, and I was like, I was right there, presence, full uniform stuff. I'm like, don't even think about it, I had to draw down on a couple of people that night, and I kept calling the company, which Triple Canopy. I kept calling the company. I called the U.S. Marshals because jointly that's their wheelhouse is federal courthouses. In the off hours is when Homeland Security and the FPS stuff really is there. I called them because the chief was cool and everything for that detachment of marshals and stuff. And I was calling Homeland Security. No one showed up. I got no backup of any kind that whole night. The Homeland Security inspectors and stuff, they were all getting deployed out to Seattle to the Chaz Chop. So we had, I think 3, maybe 4 FPS inspectors on Homeland Security on the federal law enforcement side that were handling 4 states in our region. Everyone else got sent out.
Talk about being spread thin.
Yeah.
All the way around, literally in that situation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and the ratio of FPS inspectors to FPS contractors it's something like 20 to 1 or something like that, So it's major bulk is contractor for that side of it. So nobody showed up, and we didn't have long guns either. So I was calling the marshals. I was like, get me into your freaking armory cage so I can get a long gun out. So we have our sidearms. So that was not fun. I did not enjoy that. And then I got deployed to Kenosha when those riots kicked off. The Social Security Administration building in Kenosha, they were in the process of relocation of offices. So in the middle of the night, 2 teams showed up for each site of a couple of people. So then we secured one site and then worked with the personnel, and they were rapidly relocating everything in the middle of the night as the riots were going off, because the site being moved from was closer to the riots than the one being moved to. So, that was interesting as well. So,
oh, I bet.
But it wasn't great, but that was much more palatable because we actually had multiple teams of people doing stuff instead of being stuck at a site right next to where a riot's happening and I'm by myself. Right. That was not enjoyable. And that was one of many things that started to break the camel's back. I was like, okay, I'm done with this,
Yeah.
But back to kind of circling back to the correlation to what's happening right now. You're seeing a much more adequate response by the federal administration to address protecting, securing sites and personnel. ICE and DHS are doing their job the way they're supposed to be now. That cannot be inhibited, and protesting is one thing. This is not protesting, much like Summer Love. We're not seeing protesting anymore. The No Kings events, those were all protests. There was no rioting going on during the No Kings protests. Much of that was a nothing burger anyway. The quote-unquote protests happening in LA and other places where things are getting destroyed, projectiles are being thrown, assaults are happening, all that stuff, that is a riot. That is not a protest. So that is a clear definition and delineation between the two. So,
yeah. Definitely. Jackson had a question. He asked if you were working for Paragon.
No, I was working for Triple Canopy. So I still have one of my badges. and then for a short time before Triple Canopy, because they were both under Constellus, it was Centera Group. Some of the states, I believe Illinois uses Paragon. No, it's all Triple Canopy. And I was already working for Triple Canopy and Constellus, again, from the WIPS contract. So when they were scaling back, they gave us some options. They're like, okay, we can give you a little bit of a severance thing here, and you can try and change shirts to another company, or we can offer you this other contract, and that was the FPS contract. And I was like, okay, I'll take that one, because Triple Canopy was doing pretty good by taking care of their people. And not brand loyalty or anything, but I enjoyed doing that job, and it was in general a good team of people. But when it changed to that other contract, that was not enjoyable. So I was like, I'd much rather go back overseas, and they were giving me that opportunity because of the scale back. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna find something else at that point in 2022. So yeah.
Right. Andrew, what you got, brother?
Who, me? No.
Oh, me?
Me? No. So I had to move to the chat to my phone because apparently anything I was typing in from the studio wasn't going out. So I've been kind of watching the chat here. Got Warrior saying,
I always pull it up on my phone versus using it on here.
Yeah, that explains a lot. Here I am thinking all these people fucking hate me and are ignoring my ass, and no one can see my shit. So like, the whole time I'm like, oh, I got something for y'all right there.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed in Riverside the chat doesn't automatically update scroll, so I have to scroll down to get the new messages. So
because it has to stream through YouTube and then stream back from YouTube
right.
with the chat.
Yeah.
And then their people have got to talk to our people, and our people got to talk to their people, and then they go do lunch.
And
exactly.
Full disclosure here, we were going to try and use StreamYard, just a one-time try it. And StreamYard and YouTube both went like this to me, so I couldn't do it. So we just went to Old Trusty.
Yeah. I'm on a browser that I don't prefer to use, but I'll make an exception for the homies. So
because DJ loves us.
Yeah,
and he loves you guys in the chat. So thanks for tuning in tonight, guys.
Levi made it into the chat.
Levi, welcome, dude.
Welcome, Levi.
I saw Pilgrim snuck in there too.
Who did?
Pilgrim.
He did. He shared our stuff on his channel too. So
awesome. Yes, big beer warrior. Yeah, Triple Canopy is good shit. If they give me the opportunity to go back and do some short-term overseas work, I will take it. Because they pay very nice, they pay very well, and again, they take care of their people, arguably even better on the overseas contracts than the domestic ones. So yeah,
it always pays more overseas.
Oh yeah.
Every time.
I mean, it's not like it was like back when Blackwater was still Blackwater and stuff. And in that heyday of Triple Canopy stuff, it ain't paying like that anymore, but it still pays well. So
it's also a little more calm,
depending on where you are. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, in the heyday, it was pretty wild.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah.
What Jackson said, Africa is the money spot right now.
What was that?
Big Bearded Warrior. He said
Africa. Yep.
Africa. They're the money spot right now.
Yep, it is. Again, I guess we should say it took 50, almost 60 years, but yeah, it's a hot spot again.
Yeah.
If you know. Was it? Has it always been a hot spot, and just other things took precedence, and everyone's like, I mean,
whatever. It ebbs and flows, and obviously you're seeing the Russia and China influence over there too, and everything. But yeah, we're busy over there again in a number of countries. So, yeah.
Everybody has their hand in the pot.
Mm-hmm.
See what they can get there. Stirring shit up, trying to rattle those hornets' nests everywhere they can.
Honestly, a lot of times there's a lot of saber rattling just to get that talk started, to get the money up.
Yeah.
I've noticed that in my decades of dealing with shit
Yeah.
that when the saber rattling starts, typically you keep hearing the ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. Just saying.
Right. Right.
So I think we need to talk about what everybody wants to hear about, sir, and that is what are the updates on the most badassery frack T camo, and do you make condoms? Johnny Depp wants to know.
Here's some of the test material that I made for ponchos and stuff. Obviously, it's shiny and reflective. The color's gonna grade because I got light behind me, but so these are just some of the promotional and test ponchos that I made with an initial very short yardage amount print material. So right now I'm in talks with a textile printer. It's the largest hill I have to get over right now. And it's a printer in Tennessee. Once things are more finalized, I'm still waiting to hear back from them with a signed NDA and some other stuff, and we need to make a couple more conference calls together and figure out how to set up the print to order B2B or business to business, structure, which they're willing to do. So getting that all figured out, and then any potential, however they like to do licensing on there, and because they do print other brands like Multicam and stuff as well.
Right.
So to figure out how they want to do things on their end, and then once that's all ready to go, I can finish licensing with the couple of companies that are making end product, soft goods and various things that are already on board to pick up the patterns, finish licensing agreements with them, and then it's off to the races. I'm going to facilitate them talking to the printer, ordering the yardage they want in the various patterns, because I have 10 patterns. And then they make gear and branded, fabric tags and everything. And, fabric tags. It's kind of hard to see with fabric tags.
Yeah. Well, it's camouflage, so
yeah,
it's supposed
yeah,
to
be. Well,
I saw you were holding a hanger there, but
what kind of dumbass
it's too late for the
hanger? What
Right.
the hell?
it's too late for the hanger. Damn it!
Ass.
No more wire hangers. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that was a good one. It's been a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Didn't
so that's
go away,
where
my baby.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Hey, my baby.
Right. We're so off course.
Right. So. Cheers, everyone. So yeah, and then companies that are already on board, there's a couple, some known names and stuff.
And there's one that will be on board.
Yes, once Mr. TinMan-Metal over here gets his business started, he'll be on board as well. I think I've got 4 or 5 that are on board already. So we're just waiting on that process to get over this hill right now. The textile printer's a little slow to reply on stuff, so it's a hurry up and wait game with them, which is fine. They're busy. And then I think it's the beginning of next month for a week. They shut down to clean everything in the facility and stuff. They do it twice a year, which is good. That's what I like to hear, is that they're doing proper maintenance on everything. And but I think that's probably slowing things down, apart from what quotas that they're having to do with work right now. But once the hill's over, there's a company that makes like slings and stuff, some of the best slings in the business. They're on board. Another one that does wraps and stuff for rifles and scopes and mags and all that. They're on board. And then another company that makes chest rigs and stuff. And then yep. And then Buggo Bushido, he's starting a business too, and he's going to be.
I haven't talked to him in a minute, man.
Yeah, I talk to him as often as I can, a couple of times a week. We signal chat with each other. He's in the process of moving right now. I know you know that. And then, but he's awesome at sewing and making stuff. So he's starting a gear company too. So he'll be on board as well.
Speaking of Bug Out Bushido,
yes,
you got something for a show and tell tonight.
Oh yes.
Some people
Yeah.
may recognize this.
Yes. So, but yeah. So just to real quick finish, that's what I got going on with the camo with Frac T camo right now. Obviously, I'm keeping active with the marketing and the Instagram and everything for the business. It's just I'm waiting on that process to finish climbing over that hill, and then we can start gaining speed. So that's where I'm at.
Before you move on, real quick, sir. So the question kind of the people are asking in the chat.
Yeah.
If you were to give an approximate date on when people will be able to see gear with that on there, like you know, I get it's a game and there's no exact date, but like if you were a betting man, what are you kind of thinking for like a timeline as to when people will start seeing like, hey, I just bought such and such pants, then they're Frac T camo for my area.
Yeah. Oh, I still need to find a domestic uniform manufacturer. There are not many that do it for open civilian retail besides Proper and a couple others. The rest are all just strictly GS contract supply for the government, or it's all overseas. And one of my principles is I'm only working with domestic production to support American business. So
that's one of my hurdles too.
Exactly. That's very difficult right now. But like for other stuff, like I'm optimistic that within 2 to 3 months, Frac T products will be on the market. With the various licensing partners. Yeah, I'm optimistic about that. I'm hoping it's on the shorter end of that, but again, it's all on whenever people get back to me on stuff. So
awesome.
And with that, some people recognize this.
I do, because I was there whenever the very first call went out for it.
Yep. The original prototype that I worked with Risky Krisky on, the Risky Recondo rig.
Yep.
It's a LERP rig, but there are some amazing features for it. Get that in the light a little bit. There's some awesome features for it that are not seen on other rigs. And this one, I'm not great at sewing, but it's a fully stitched construction. So think like SADF pattern 83 battle jacket in a sense. This chest rig is detachable. This chest rig placard is detachable. You can use it as a standalone chest rig, low profile chest rig. It's padded. It's got a big map pouch in it, mag pouches, smoke pouch, some smaller pistol mag pouches on there, and then the belt, pistol mag pouches, rifle mag pouches, GP, hydration on either side. A lot of padding on this thing. It's extremely comfortable. Most of the adjustments in the back.
H style too.
Yep. H style, padded. It's all padded. EVA closed cell foam, so it's buoyant, waterproof, extremely comfortable. All the adjustments in the back sides. Thought about doing an adjustment on the front side here with that, but I went with wider, just some cut wider material to make stronger webbing up front. So, but the way I have the lengths of cordage and stuff, it'll fit anyone from a height of like 5'5", 5'6", and I'm 5'8", a height from like 5'5", 5'6", all the way up to somebody who's about 6'4", 6'5".
Awesome.
Just the amount of option with material
adjustability
there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So all in all, this rig, depending on how you put mags, like in the standard mag pouches and stuff, which are snap button and Velcro covered flat pouches, because that is the way. All in all, so if you're going to say stack Stanag mag sideways, and these are multi-platform compatible mags, so you can put AK, AR, 7.62 mags in them. So 3.69, 12, 14, 16. You can put 18 AR mags in here if you wanted. So yeah,
or 16 in a beef wang.
Yeah, exactly. That's if you're stacking them, bullet forward, Alice style configuration. Each of those mag pouches will fit 2 AK mags, 2 7.62 mags, so you have a full combat load plus in that kind of rig. That's a very rough construction. Obviously, it needs a little bit of polishing up to be a market ready, product.
It's a prototype.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's a prototype. So, and I had kind of tossed it around a little bit to a couple of companies back when I made it, like, hey, would you guys be interested, to include Verusta Leica? And they thought it was cool, but they were like, I think 2 years of backlog of R&D projects and stuff that they were releasing already. So they couldn't do it. And a lot of the other companies were like, we basically just make a contract order X number of products for you to retail. And I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to sell it and get it on the market, you know? So, you know, with whoever. So, you know, I don't want to have to deal with all the retail logistics and all that stuff, you know. And it's the same with the Frac T camo stuff. That's why I'm doing licensing with other companies and the way that that is. And it's the same way Multicam or Cryptek does it too. So, you know.
What's funny is I originally heard your name back then.
Oh, hell yeah.
Whenever you made it, like Krisky was talking about it and you brought up your name. So whenever I got back into the YouTube space here and guys were starting to talk about you, I was like, I know who he is.
Yeah. And that's awesome. You know, yeah, it's
small world, so to speak.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You
and
know,
Bug Out and those guys.
Yeah. It's cool. The circles that have been made. And, you know, like Brent 0331, he's a homie. I've trained with him at Winter Forge before. I haven't done One Shepherd, but I've done Winter Forge, you know, down with the SNS Training Solutions, and he was there and everything. Did that a couple of years back, and that was a good, relatively good time. Brent's a good dude, you know. I'm friends with Randall Ground Proof, you know, like, yeah, it's the circles. Josh Munder for Frontiersman, you know, TMT, like, yeah, the way the circles end up kind of connecting with each other, it's really awesome, you know. It's been a great group of people, and working on that on the LERP rig, the Risky Recondo rig and stuff. And I was just like, I think I can make a prototype of that, which I did. And then, unfortunately it hasn't gone anywhere yet, but I've seen cues of it have come up in other products people have made. And then like Fatty Westside made his FAPS, or what is it? FAPS rig or whatever.
Yeah. FAPS rig,
which is great. Like, you know, he's taken some cues of it. And, I think at some point, whether TinMan, whether it's your business or I was talking to another company who's also on board for the Frac T camo stuff for their standard line of products. They thought it was really cool too. So I may talk to them too. And seeing two different versions of it come out with two awesome companies would be amazing, you know.
When I came out with the track system, the Risky Recondo rig is kind of what my inspiration was, just hearing the concepts of it. And then I kind of went with it.
Yeah.
And alongside the track system, I do want to pick up the Risky Recondo rig made by DJ the Metalhead Mercenary. It will literally say I want it to say on the tag, Risky Recondo rig. On the other side, say Tin-Man Tactical.
Hell yeah.
And DJ the Metalhead Mercenary under the Risky Recondo rig.
Well, I mean, I
wanted to say that.
Hell yeah. And if it's going to be made in Frac T patterns, you know, you got the Frac T brand in too, you know, so.
Because you got 3 Minutemen like thrown into it right there.
Exactly.
And then right at the waistline, it's going to say, love Johnny Depth. That's what
exactly.
There's actually going to be a card put in one of the pouches with a mushroom stamp on it that signed Johnny Depth.
I gotta get a plug somewhere. That's all I'm saying. I gotta get.
That would be amazing. Oh
no, but your stuff is awesome, and I know you and I talked offline before because my wife has a small Etsy business, and we're working on a couple different bag designs. Nothing to the level of what y'all are doing, but just as far as like haversacks and pouches and stuff like that. And I mean, people love camo, and I'll tell you a personal story on, and I probably told this before. The chat may have seen it. Rednecks buy camo, and I is a redneck, and so I'm at this gas station filling up one time, and I was like, you know, and you go to gas station. Now, most of the time here in Texas, you can go to a gas station and find some pretty good beer, right? Minus what Metal was drinking with that Michelob Ultra. Don't act like nobody saw it. Don't.
I got something to make up for it, right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Plus, this is also 45 horsepower.
So I'm there and I'm looking and I'm like, there's like some art car, there's some of this. And I was like, oh, what's this one? What's this? And it's a camouflage can. And I'm like, yeah, we know what you did there. You know, I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. So I pick up a 6-pack of Busch Light because it's in camo, and I bring it home. I bring it home, and and I'm ringing it up, and the guy's looking at me. He's like, this is not really you. I was like, just roll with it, dude. You're making money, whatever. I get home and I have it on the counter. My wife walks in and goes, the fuck is this? I was like, she's like, it's Bush Light. She's like, what is wrong with you? I was like, but the can, it's camo. And she looks at me and she's like, you're retarded. And then just walks.
He's
But
like,
it's camo.
I know,
It's
but it's
camo.
camo.
It's camo. Need to tell St. Arnold's to give me some camo beer cans. That's all I'm saying.
Beer like that, you were just buying it to cook brats in. Come on, bratwurst.
Right.
Exactly.
It's brat
That's
beer.
what that kind of beer is for cooking brats with. Like that's why. That's
Helltown Sanctuary Russian Imperial Stout, 10.5 horsepower.
But I've already told you how you had to say sanctuary. Go ahead and try it again.
The Sanctuary.
A little more hunt in the back.
The
Sanctuary. There you go. There we go. There we go.
I like the design on that can too. It's simple.
It is pretty sick. Isn't it?
Helltown is like right down the road.
Oh, Houston? No.
No, they're down in Export, PA.
Oh, the other Helltown.
They have an amazing catalog. Catalog of beers.
Nice.
Love it. Now, my question with the Frac T.
Yes.
I will be featuring Frac T once I launch the 10-man line. However, I'm a history buff.
Sure.
How did it come to be? Were you just like sitting there on the crappy A one day and was just like, Frac T? How did it come to be?
So the name really came last, or like in the design process, really, because I just did the trademark and copyright everything back in like February, March of this year. It's a brand new brand. So I'm a bit of a nerd for history and for camouflage and things like that, but like it's been a long discussion both with our community and large and the public and stuff, and people were like, I like multicam and stuff, but I don't want to be using fed cam. I don't want to be using the stuff that national military and various police entities and whatnot are actively using as our camouflage for our group or for personal use or whatever. And I definitely agree with that sentiment, and between that and seeing that there are some newer camouflages on the market, whether it's Nemesis or some other ones that are really cool. I was like, I have an idea for fusing what I like between European and American styles of camouflage, fusing them together and doing a variety of design things and especially better color choices for the camouflages to make a range of regionally and seasonally applicable patterns.
Yes.
So influences anything from old German, because the Germans were way ahead of their time in World War II with camouflage, whether it's your M44 or your Leto, which turned Russian partisan is the same thing. And some of those, and then looking at, obviously I love M81 US Woodland. I love Rhodesian Brushstroke and DPM and like all those. And like, I love the
just slaps, dude. It's so cool.
And I love Flecktarn and some of the Scandi patterns and stuff. MO5 is cool and all that. So it's like, okay, I can take nuances and influences from those and fuse it with a more American style, especially with the scaling of the pattern size, because too small a scaling pattern. This is a problem with digital camouflages, whether it's Marpat, UCP, and other patterns like that, Russian EMR as well. When it's scaled too small at distance, you just blob out. You're fully just silhouetted, because you're not getting that contrast and more definition of color variation that helps you to break profile and blend into your environment around you, apart from the color palette choices, the colorways and stuff. So scaling the pattern larger helps with at distance blending, but also with the right color choice and the way the patterns are designed, you still blend in when you're up when you're in a closer proximity as well. I do like multicam. The scaling of their pattern is pretty good. It's not
Yeah.
super small like digi patterns and some other ones, but it's not as big as M81 or brushstroke or whatever.
Chocolate chip or something.
Yeah, exactly. So it is a happy medium, and I do like that in mad respect to what Cry and Multicam have done. With how successful they've been since 2008, just before time period. Um, so some of that nuance, but my scaling's a little bit different, but because the pattern itself, the design is completely different and everything. Um, and the name is called Fractive Fractal Spectral Camouflage Systems because the large full scale swatch of the pattern is a fractal. It's a more randomized fractal, so it's naturalized and meant for natural blending to the environment. But looking at it at distance, it looks like a fractal in the full scale print of the swatch. And it's not a square linear repetition
That's
swatch.
actually quite fucking genius.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. It took a lot. It took me about 3 years, just over 3 years between, because I have some graphic design background and stuff. So it took me just over 3 years to work on the designing stuff and the study and everything, and then environmental study, understanding different regions and what works and what doesn't work, and just the natural aspects of different environments, whether it's high desert of Nevada or the Ozarks or Appalachia or up here in the Northwoods of the Great Lakes region. I'm in Wisconsin. Dense woodlands and stuff, but we still get some highlands and bluffs, and we do have open plains and farm fields in the driftless region and otherwise, so a whole range of different archipelagos and stuff, mountains of Colorado, high mountains of Colorado, wherever. So doing all that design process and that study process, and then designing a line of 10 patterns, and then jungle, swamp, and I digress. Doing all that design and everything, and making sure everything was right, and that the colors were going to be more appropriate and then variable to which patterns are meant for seasonal application and everything. That took a while, and I did it very quietly. I only had a couple of people that really knew that I was working on that process. I kind of kept it from everyone as a secret until I released it. They got the website up and everything, and the brand, trademarked and everything this year. Yeah, I said that in the chat. Big Beer Warrior. Yeah, I'm in Wisconsin as well. Like I said, I was at Kenosha during the riots. We were doing some work with Triple Canopy there, for federal sites and stuff. But I digress. Yeah, back to it. So yeah, it's like all those design aesthetics and everything. So the large swatch, it's not a square repeating pattern like you see with multicam or M81 or whatever. So in one contrast, it cannot be done with rotary screen printing like a lot of patterns are. It has to be done with digital printing. But digital printing is now cheaper. It takes less equipment. And all that, and the way that printing is done now and everything, it is just as good, if not even a little bit better than what rotary screen can produce, especially for high definition imagery. And then with digital printing, you can use NAR inks and dyes and everything. You can do all that stuff. That's all available now. So there's no deficit to doing digital printing. But for my patterns, that's how it has to be done because of the way that the swatches are, the repeating swatches are designed and scaled and everything. Because it's not linear, it's a larger section of randomization before it starts to repeat. So that's another one of those benefits for production and stuff. And it also means it's omnidirectional. So you can take the yardage and you can cut it in whatever direction you want, and it's going to work the same.
Yeah.
Linear repetition patterns, you can do that to an extent, but you can't really get away with it as much as the way I do it. So, because a lot of patterns, you're seeing a lot of horizontal lines or vertical lines that are meant to be in the pattern and done a certain way. That doesn't matter with my stuff. You can do it you can cut it however you want, and it's going to work the same. Right. So that's a big benefit there. As well, and that's part of that design aesthetic, and where the implementation of a naturalized fractal pattern actually is more beneficial. So
that's something I was going to say, is like the gradation and how the light when you look at it, like I'm comparing like multicam works great in my AO
Yeah.
during most seasons. M81 will stand out in certain seasons.
Yeah.
Realtree works quite well.
Yeah.
But I found your pattern that will work for me like 95% of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
The snow pattern will work for the rest.
Right, exactly. Yeah, in the off season, because I have two patterns for the seasonal application for autumn and then snow winter. The A pattern is it's just coded A for autumn. But the A pattern is meant for that time of the year, the transition, leaves have fallen off and all that. And standard flectarn works really well during autumn as well, especially in the northern woodlands, like in the region that we're in and stuff. But around a lot of the country, it works fairly well. But the A pattern is more optimized colorway wise and stuff to blend in with the exposed soil, leaf litter on the ground, grays of the bare trees and things like that, and a little bit more and a little bit of green in there that's meant for the coniferous plants, your pines and spruce and everything that are alive during that time of the season. And then, in contrast, the rest of the time of the year, I've got a variety of different woodland patterns based on, again, your terrain type. If it's mixed with rocky, bluffs, intermediate mountain, whatever it is, dense woodland, jungle, and then the W pattern is your standard brown dominant woodland pattern that works pretty much anywhere. So it's like that kind of thing, so you have the options. And it's meant to give you the best advantage and best optimization of operational capacity and compatibility with your localized environment, just out of the gate. So
Something I wanted to look into in doing my equipment is having a wrap for like your shoulder harnesses to peel off and then rewrap with a different seasonal.
Sure.
Re-outfit your chest rig, plate carrier, whatever, with a different pattern.
Yeah. Well, and I think I honestly, I transitioned between two different rigs. I made a winterized rig with Lynchpin's Nizumi chest rig. So I rattle canned it white, added a little brown to it. So that's for when there's snow on the ground, which there is for many months out of the year up here, because our winters are long. So that, and then the rest of the time, right now, I'm running an M81 Woodland chest rig, the Optimal Performance Systems Enhanced Combat chest rig. I love that thing. But once my patterns come into the market, obviously I'm switching to my patterns with different rigs. But I'm gonna have a transitional one or two rigs for transitional use. But that's a good point, and that's where I like your Gear Aid camoform wraps, where you can wrap stuff as you need it. I do it for my magazines, and then another brand, Tact Wrap, which is going to be one of the partners that gets on board with Frac T. Pete's an awesome dude, great company. Highly recommend checking them out because they have a huge line of different products and patterns as is. But they have wraps and stuff for your guns, your mags, and all that stuff, and excellent products. They're going to be on board, but their stuff too, apart from the camoform wrap stuff and everything, highly recommend. It's good to be able to don and doff on your gear as you see fit and as you need. And it's kind of a no-brainer to make things compatible with how you're doing things. And I mean, there's something to be said about mix and matching camouflage. I support that. The finish method. Okay, there's a lot of there's snow on the ground, but there's not necessarily as much snow in the trees and stuff. Okay, so you may run some type of woodland top or even multicam top or whatever, and then you're running white trousers or vice versa. Mix and matching like that.
And see, that's something I do is I have painter's overalls that I made for camo for my over whites that I can pull over my regular clothes. And then if my top's different, I just tie the arms around my waist.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It works.
And then I have the white bottoms and I have the camo top.
Right. And something to be said too, not a rain poncho per se, but for my snow rig, having just a fabric poncho, a standard fabric poncho, of a different pattern to just quick throw on over what you're wearing speaks volumes too, because that works insanely well. You know, say you're in the Dakotas or you're in Iowa with a lot of farm fields and stuff, and you got to move. Unfortunately, you have to move ODA, open danger area crossing, from one tree break line to the other, one tree line to the other, or whatever. Okay, I've got my W woodland pattern on. I'm going to throw on the PS plains and scrub pattern, which matches the golden grass of the rolling plains and
corn stalks and soybean
exactly.
fields. Yeah,
Throw that on over real quick. Cross, crawl, crawl if I have to, or whatever, or cross or whatever, and then I can take it off again. And there's something to be said about that too. So, like in winter stuff, I've got a snow, just a bed sheet that I cut up with a fabric snow poncho. I threw a little bit of brown rattle can on, because brown does work better than gray in snowy environments. Enlarged, unless you're in Antarctica or somewhere where there's no foliage of any kind, dead trees or otherwise. Brown still works better. In all my testing I've done, brown still works better. A little bit of brown in there intermittent, which is why my snow S pattern has brown, and my prototype and my stuff has a little bit of brown with it, because we have a lot of woods around here. But like you just throw that on over some kind of woodland top or whatever, and that helps break up profile, because your arms may still have that woodland, but then you've got the bulk that is the snow that's going to blend in with your environment. That helps break up profile as well. But it works insanely well, and it's very simple. It's a very simple fix for things.
Right. And you got to think at distance how you see a person at distance.
Yep.
You're seeing a block, you're seeing a dot, you're seeing a little speck.
You're seeing
depending,
this too.
you're seeing this.
Yep.
So if you're blending this to what's around, you're doing far better than worrying about from here down.
Yep. Absolutely. And there's something to be said about a proper BDU uniform than some of the high speed stuff that you're seeing that's a little more form fit cut, because you're profiling yourself more. If you have it, if it's a little bit looser, a little more flowy, that helps you not have as much swamp ass, but also it helps break up your silhouette. So
got to use the powder, not the pucker powder, but the gold bond.
The gold bond. Yeah. Well, that's like for skivvies. I love like the Under Armour, lightweight ones that are like super ventilating. Dude, they're awesome. I mean, come on. You're wearing cotton skivvies out in the field. You're kind of setting yourself up for a little bit of more
crotch rot.
Yeah, crotch rot and discomfort.
Crotch pot cooking. Making ball soup all day.
Yeah. I'm not going to that dinner. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yep.
And down here, you put too much powder in there, all of a sudden
you're walking around,
you're walking around kicking out silver dollar flapjacks out of your ass from if you're humping a lot. Shit.
Yep. Yeah, we used to say,
but it helps the chafing. I'm telling you, once you're
we used to say kicking biscuits.
Yeah. if you've hit the point where everything's about as red as this flag behind me, man, you're having a bad day.
You don't want to be kicking biscuits, let me tell you.
Walking around acting like you've been riding a horse for a fucking month.
Waddling.
Like you had a night with John E. Depth and Girth Brooks.
Yeah, swamp ass awareness month, as Pilgrim says. He's not wrong. It's like 6 months here in Texas. Shit.
Dude, it's been so humid here lately, and rain and humid and rain and humid. It's like, can we get a break? I don't want to live in a fish tank.
Yeah. I'm not raising iguanas. Come on. What are we doing?
I am underwater.
Right. Did we lose Metal?
No,
he froze. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
It froze for a second.
It's all good.
Far better than usual.
Yeah, it has been. It has been running better.
Me laying money into things, and
well, I think we just jinxed it.
And racking my brain for going through this, so like help.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So
hopefully,
Johnny Depp has been trying to lay things for years.
Yeah,
it's the YouTube algorithm. Make overlords. It's the overlords, man. I'm telling you. I should be here.
So are you going to You were talking about, yeah, you're still good, man. You were talking earlier about Brent 0331
Yep.
and Grunt Proof and stuff. Are you going to make it to that FTX down in East Texas this year?
Oh, we lost him.
We did.
I don't. No, I don't think I'm gonna. Time and money.
Yeah, I get
I
it.
don't think because I'm operating in the red right now for the Camel brand until things can gain speed. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but I do plan on some point going down and hanging out with them, and then I'll be sending some stuff to Brent to insofar as Fracty as well to do some camo effectiveness test videos.
Yeah.
Because I mean he's the best marketing for any camo brand out there with the stuff he does. So
Right.
he's an awesome dude. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to that one, unfortunately, but he will be hosting One Shepherd events down there, obviously. And then, I know Brock, Life Fighters Anonymous. I actually did his channel logo, his new channel logo. I did that one. Again, graphic design stuff. I've done a few channels, logos, and that. But, Brock's a good dude, but that'll be a really cool event. And anyone who does go, I do recommend going if you can. It's going to be awesome. I'm not going to be able to make it, unfortunately, but hopefully in the future.
It'll be an interesting time of year, and I don't know if Randall's Little Adventures is still in here. So it's kind of in his neck of the woods because Randall's northeast of me, quite a ways, and so you start getting into the piney woods. You get a whole bunch of swamp, heat, humidity, snakes, alligators, everything. And so I think it's always good to get out of your comfort zone. So if you're in Maine, right? Like and I say this living down here, like you put me in Maine in the wintertime, I ain't gonna make it. I'll be cold. But you take Grunt Proof out of California. You take, you bring folks and you put them in an area that's, and I'm not knocking any of these guys at all, but I'm saying put yourself in a more challenging environment because it's one of those, like I keep telling people, I was like, you don't have enough water. You just don't. It's like you think you do, but you don't.
No.
You don't have enough water.
And
Randall said the mosquitoes, the mosquitoes would be like taking Andrew's fat ass away. You know what I'm saying? Like it's and in September, it's going to be even like, it's not going to be August or July,
right?
But it'll still be hot because, like I'm telling you, it's hot down here from March until November. So
right.
It'll be a good challenge for everyone that goes down there.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited for everyone.
Hell yeah, no, it'll be a good time. It's not foreign to Randall. He's originally from Mississippi.
That's true. Yeah,
from the Gulf Coast. He's got properties all over the place, dude. That
must be nice.
Yeah, right. He's a good dude. But and I mean, I was stationed in Georgia for a while. I spent some time in Florida and stuff. I lived in Texas for a time when I was younger. So I understand those environments. I don't enjoy the heat, but I understand it. And you absolutely do need water. You will heat cat very quickly if you don't have enough water. And dress appropriately. Because our summers are fairly short up here. How you dress for autumn or spring up here even is not how you dress for down there. During the summer it's the same, obviously, but you need more lightweight stuff. You need stuff that dries out quick, is fairly breathable. You need that down there. And to some extent, even in winter, you need some breathability with some stuff. But wool is still king for winter, obviously. Wear quite a bit of wool, especially when it comes to socks and like sweaters and stuff. Like those are game changers for when the cold hits. But it's stark contrast. Like I've got some, like, they don't make them anymore, but the Nike Pro Combat shirts, which were something that they had for contract to the military for a while too, but you could buy them, in the public market as well. Those are really lightweight ventilating shirts, and they're really well made. I like those. I've got a few of those, and they came in very handy overseas. but also whenever I do like go down south or whatever, I usually pack those too because they're awesome. And
Yeah.
it wicks it away, but it dries and ventilates really well. It dries really fast and ventilates well. Like that stuff's awesome. The Under Armour equivalents are really good too.
Yeah.
And there's some other brands too, obviously, but those are just two examples. So
I'm literally wearing. I wear these. It's Russell Athletic.
yeah, we got
And it's I can probably buy 2 or 3 of them for the price of Under Armour.
yeah.
And
Same
I
with,
wear
like,
them every day.
Champion. Same with
Yeah,
Champion.
yeah. And it's just you find what works, And I was actually talking. I think I might have been talking with Metal about it earlier. Kind of like when you find shit that works, you stick with it. Just like if whatever if you've got a tactic or an item, a tool or something that works. Because we were talking in the green room earlier about different multi tools, and when you find one that works, that's what you go with. It just
Right.
I'm not gonna switch because it just works.
Right.
I'm not gonna buy something just because I was watching this and I need to buy it because they said so. Well, do you need it? Like if you want it and you have the money, like go spend, bitch, whatever. But
Right.
if you just like it's one that just I just bought it just because. It's like, well, why? You don't need it. I don't know.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe I'm an asshole.
Exactly. If you shop for the best prices, practicality, always practicality. Is it nice to have, the nicer things here and there? Oh, of course, but
Of course.
This day and age, the way the economy is and stuff, if you can afford it, cool. But otherwise, be practical.
Yeah.
Be smart about it.
Exactly. He's having to restart his modem and his laptop.
Oof, man.
God, I don't know.
It's gotta be something.
Porn. It's porn. He's watching too much.
Got like 8 ManyVid, freaking tabs open. Got 20 Pornhub tabs open. He's shelling out the dough to like 6 OnlyFans girls now.
Making it rain, bitches. So while we're waiting for him, so let's now that we've ragged him and he can't defend himself other than in the chat.
That's okay. We were ragging you a little bit earlier too. It's okay.
Oh, that's good. I can take it. It's fine. His whole house internet went down. So let's talk about your channel. And I
okay.
I've always enjoyed your channel for a multitude of reasons. Because you don't pigeonhole yourself. Right. You enjoy preparedness, firearms security, music, a variety of things. Yeah. And you know what? You don't let it stop you. No. You don't. And it's, I think that is awesome. And I think you gain more traction in a way because it's like, hey, you got some people that might be into the music aspect, but then they might see one of your other videos and be like, maybe I should get some of my shit together. Or you find someone that's watching some of your other content. They're like, oh man, this music's badass, and it's intertwining and it's doing this. And I think it's awesome that you do that. And I wish more channels would. So kudos, sir. Seriously.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like for me, I just do whatever the hell I want. It's
your channel.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in 10 bands, like 10 active bands and projects.
Wow.
A lot of them are studio projects and stuff, but there's a couple that play shows and things like that. I'm very active in that scene, and then art, graphic design, I've got some painting videos up, I paint as well, apart from traditional and digital graphic design and stuff. And, I like art a lot, I love music, obviously. And with like all the other stuff, I bring a lot of experience back stuff and whatnot and things that I like, to the table. And it's like, hey, something to think about. I like to think, I know it's not obviously the case for everyone, but I like to think that a lot of the people that are subscribed and following my channel and stuff are a little bit more of a cultured and critical, a cultured person and a critical thinker, which I like to see, you know, warrior in the garden kind of thing, warrior poet, what, you know, whatever euphemism, adage, you know, metaphor, whatever, you know, it is. I like to see that, and I like people, like, even if we don't share the same perspectives on things or you know, beliefs, whether it's holistically, religiously, politically, or whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, if you're chill and you're cool and you like some of the same stuff, like, cool. I'm glad you're here, you know,
Right.
and all that. And I don't care about monetization either. A lot of people do. And is it cool to have some passive income in that manner and stuff? Oh yeah, of course. You know, that's great. I'm just under, I think I'm at like 1760 subs or something like that. The criteria for monetization, I've hit the first bulk of it, but like, it's those other subsections for criteria. I don't put a lot of shorts out. I don't care about that. I rarely do anything on my phone. It's all from the computer mostly if I'm doing that stuff. Apart from like if a friend does some video with a phone and sends it to me to put up. I don't do anything with my phone otherwise. I don't even use YouTube mobile app or anything. And then yeah, so like, you know, some of that other criteria, you know, I've got a list of videos, and it's on the homepage of my channel and stuff, of most viewed videos. You know, I've got 10K plus views on some videos and stuff, but it's over such a broad period of time and all that. It's not hitting that second bracket of criteria, so it's not monetized. I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever. I'm doing what I want anyway. I don't really care about that. When it happens, cool, it happens. But till then, whatever, you know. I try to put out at least one video a week now. It used to be 2. I just don't have the time for that between everything. So I try to do one video a week, which I still need to do a video this week for whenever, tomorrow or Friday to come out. But and then last week, like, was my Q&A live stream, so that counts for my video for the week or whatever.
Exactly.
So it's like that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's like it's a whole range of things, like hiking videos. Here's one of my paintings. Here's some cool new tunes. Here's, you know, shower thoughts. Here's a discussion on why CCW classes suck ass and you need to do way more in order to be actually prepared when you're carjacked or whatever. You know, like whatever it is. You know, it's all across the board, because I'm not a one-trick pony, and I'm not a flat planer person. Most people aren't. I don't know about some of the younger people nowadays, but you know, I would hope that, especially with people who do get out of their comfort zone or have a very interesting background or just have an eclectic taste in things or whatever, you know, they come out of the woodwork, and I want to see more of that, you know, with other people as well. Absolutely. Like, that's why I like your stuff too. You know, you're showing, you know, hiking and kayak trips and camp trips and everything. And then you're turning around and talking about, you know, this product that you bought with your own money. We don't have to get into the depths of, you know, industry provided, you know, stuff that some people call shilling and the affiliate programs and stuff. We're not going to get into that, but you know, and I'm the same way. You know, I've bought this thing with my own money. I really like it. Check it out. I recommend it, you know, and that's how it should be in a lot of ways. That's how
if you're in the market for this, here's some more data to support the case for you to get it. And that's really, like, it's one of those, I'm not just gonna buy shit to do a video on it. Like, it's one, like, if it's one of those, if I need something, I'm gonna get it. And just like, I didn't do what, like I recently did that holster video for this light, and I'll tell you, like, you know, there's so many holsters I ordered that I didn't fucking even talk about, because, like, I mean, what, I don't have the time to be like, this is a piece of shit, this is a piece of shit, this is a piece of shit. Like, no, I'd rather just say, hey, like, this worked, and you know, if you want to hit me up in the comments, be like, well, you know, what didn't work? I was like, well, this one, but I'm not going to sit there and bore all of you to be like, well, this jackass just did 7 weeks of videos on some shit that no one cares about. Like, that's not productive. Come on.
Right. Exactly. Yes, Tin Man, you should post a drum video at some point, dude. You're a freaking drummer,
Right.
dude. Come on, I want to see that shit. Come on.
I'm not getting naked, folks. Just loosen up. There he is.
There he is.
He finished up that 10.5.
Have you seen my baseball?
My name's
Have
Jeff.
you seen my wiener?
My name's Jeff. Yeah, you do
See,
it.
I went full on to this,
Listen up. There he is.
so I can keep up.
Jesus.
And we were just
Xfinity
joking
went out,
about the
period.
Pornhub, but not really.
Xfinity needs to remove head from sphincter.
Oh my god! Like I kicked on my Wi-Fi on my phone, and it was like,
Ridiculous.
so I'm off tomorrow. I'm getting crown work done, so I'm gonna be in a really good mood.
Oof.
You should drink more.
Oh no, something's gonna
Oh.
happen. Something's gonna happen. They ain't gonna like it.
Yes, it's that time.
Black Dog
Quads.
time. So if I don't
My wife's
cut out
thinking-
again, I'll keep trying to come back like a bad rash. But DJ and I were talking that we're of the same mindset when it comes to night vision and enablers. Tune in your natural senses first.
Yes. Yes,
When
absolutely.
it comes to ammunition, what you carry on you, 15, 16 mags minimum.
Between your rig and your pack, yeah, absolutely.
How many times were you Winchester or Black and been like, fuck, I need a mag?
A lot more in the Army than contracting. Contracting was never an issue. We always had ammo, but in the Army, a couple of times, yeah.
But to be fair, none of us had been Minuteman before.
Right.
So we're not getting the big green weenie to
Right.
resupply us. So
Exactly.
you got to stock up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Air support, all the
yeah.
fun things.
Yeah. The support.
Call in a care package.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
support and logistics are not there for citizens.
Mm-mm.
And yeah, that needs to be reinforced in, which is why I have an entire playlist talking about logistics on my channel. And I take videos from other people too and throw it into that playlist because it's all good information and tips and various things. But like, yeah, it's the setup is, whatever you have, if you've got 3,000 rounds of 5.56, just a number to throw out there. You got 3,000 rounds of 5.56 loaded in mags and then some extra and some ammo cans. Cool. You're taking it all with you wherever you go. You're going to load your vehicle to the gills, and you're going to take it to whatever cabin you're bugging out to whatever friend's house you're going to rendezvous with. Whatever you're doing, you're taking it all with you. You cannot leave it because variable to the situation and the extenuation of time and everything else, you might need it. And that's all you got to rely on. So then, like, pooling resources with your mag and everything, we've got some people that run 5.56. We've got some people that run 7.62x39 Russian. We've got a stock of 308 7.62x51, 308 Winchester.
9 mil, 45.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're bringing it all. You have enough to sustain and supplement yourself, along with a number of reloads as needed, and then you figure out who's going to be working, roles designation, and everyone's going to have multiple roles. Who's the QRF to run you Johnny on the spot more ammo if you need it? Who's going to, do the things? Who's going to help with this? And that's the thing that people don't understand. In a number of the exigent and extreme SHTF type situations, your group size is going to dictate how fundamentally successful you're going to be for a long-term situation. If you've got a very small number of people, let's just say 6 people, who's going to do better, that 6 people or that group of 15, 20 people? You can accomplish more tasks and get more things done with more people. It is more mouths to feed, but you have more people to accomplish, contributing to feeding mouths.
Right.
So
the juice is worth a squeeze in that aspect.
Exactly.
Balance.
It's a ratio thing, So those are things to think about. But it's like, you got and of those number of people, you got a couple of families in tow that have younger kids or whatever, and things like that. Okay, they're going to be able to help with some things. They obviously can't do some of the other things. They're not going to be manning an OP, or a roadblock. They're not going to be sitting in an LPOP. They're not going to be sitting Overwatch on the roof of the house. They're not going to be doing those things.
Right.
They can help with it. They can help
Loading
in the
mags,
kitchen.
filling water,
Exactly. Filling
prepping
water.
med kits, prepping
Yeah.
this, prepping that.
Exactly. They can help in the kitchen. They can help, you can teach a kid to sew. You can help them with, a number of things. Hey, go pick up a bunch of these sticks because we're going to need them for fire starters and stuff. Whatever it is, things like that. But they're limited on things, and some of the women, where they should be obviously training, with the firearms and all that stuff too, what's the risk assessment to having them accompany you on a property check,
Right.
or do you want to keep them there, not to be sexist or chauvinistic or anything, but that's just the nature of the thing. When it comes to combat, there's only a small number of women who can do what men can do in combat.
Very small number.
Yeah. They got to be freaking PT studs.
They have to literally be a shield maiden.
Yes. Yeah. Death
With
by
ACR
snooze too.
being in right, legitimately that category. Like
Yeah.
with him being in Texas, you know what comes to mind? Hank's wife, make me a sandwich.
That's good.
They're rebooting that, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, Bobby's
You know what?
grown
I
up,
think my son told me that he did. Yeah.
and I'm here for it. I love King of the Hill.
Let's,
I'll tell you what, that boy ain't right.
that's a pretty good impression. That's pretty good. Mine's terrible. So
Andrew, if you were my son, I'd hug you.
Talk about all this stuff, man. Come on, man.
Pocket sand.
Yeah, yes. Best character in the show.
You heard the voice of
Johnny Redcorn. Yeah, he was murdered.
yeah, man, he got murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah, out there in Austin. That happened like 2 weeks ago. I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
That's over some stupid shit.
And we just lost Gene Hackman
Rest
not
in
that
peace,
long
Johnny
ago.
Redcorn.
That was a messed up situation too.
So
Yeah, that was crazy.
there's some weird shit going. I don't think we don't know all the story with that. Something's not adding up.
Well, he had dementia onset, and then his wife ended up getting an illness of some kind, and yeah, it was a weird situation. And then, unfortunately, the legend Simon Mann, who I've talked to a number of times in the past, he and I would actually talk on LinkedIn of all places. Would chat with each other on LinkedIn.
One of your few social medias.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a professional, platform. Simon Mann of Executive Outcomes and Sandline International fame, unfortunately passed away not that long ago too. Had a heart attack while he was on his treadmill. That was a big loss. That's a big loss to the community as far as the professional fringe private sector community. The man is an absolute legend. So here's to Simon Mann.
Yeah. Cheers.
Skull.
What's the ABV on yours there, Metal?
8.5.
What about you?
I am at 10.5.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I gotta dig one out that's higher than 10.5 to trump all you motherfuckers.
Let me go get an Exodus.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll make a phone call. I'll bring something up that's 18% right now.
Kentucky.
That's literally what I was going for. I was literally going for an 18% Exodus.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Randall's Little Venture says, I used to try to put together mags, but honestly, I found that 90% of people in the realm are whack jobs. There's a lot of cuckoo clocks out there, that's for sure.
It's either whack jobs or nobody wants to do nothing.
Or it's
Sit around.
yeah. Nobody wants to do nothing, but they fucking know everything.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
because he and I have had plenty of camp talks
Right.
about
What'd you call
that
your
because-
previous mag? Oh, my previous mag was called Didn't Do Nothing.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Wait
a minute.
Yes.
Wait a minute. We got him in.
That's it.
Got him in on the
We got him
freaking. Wait a minute.
And I'm in the know. Come on.
There's so many folks out there. Again, it's one of those like it's a challenge because like if you try to do something like these, there was something that was circling around on Facebook, and of course, it fucking everything's listening to us right now, right? So I get this on my feed, and it was like I don't know if it's called Mag Texas or something like that. And I was like, okay, this seems kind of interesting. And of course they got like the cool videos and everything. And I was talking with a buddy of mine that follows my channel. I haven't talked with him in a minute. I was like, hey man, have you heard of this? He's like, fuck those guys. I was like, enough said. Thank you for
Fair
the
point.
validation. Fair point. He's
is
like,
what it
no,
is.
this is they want you to pay all this money to go in, and then they're sitting there fucking playing with themselves. I was like, well, wait a minute, I'm not
Right.
opposed to that, but
Yeah.
he started creating his own stuff and getting because it's one of those you've got to vet people that are with you, right? Like it's one of those if you just get 50 people sign up, you're gonna get 49 that are garbage. Like it's just the worst.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Something I started doing, and
You're right.
it had to be somebody I personally knew and knew their metal. And if they referred somebody to join in, I said, okay, let me ask you one question, one solitary question. If something happened to you and you were dead and gone, would you trust them with your family's well-being?
Right.
98% of the applicants disappeared at that point.
Yeah.
Right. They don't want that responsibility. And hey, guess what?
So I do the same thing. I do the same thing because with my job, I deal with a lot of hiring and firing and stuff like that. And I'll get someone that'll tell me like, hey, I've got a recommendation, or I've got, an applicant or something, someone that they're trying to, peddle their wares. And I'll tell them, I'll be like, are you willing to put your name and your job on them? And because I have no problems telling people, like, I'm a pretty fucking nice guy, but I'll tell, like, if they're fucking horrible, you're both out the door. Like you're both gone.
Right.
Like it's like and I'm not
on principle.
right because it's one. Yeah, it's just I'm not. Are you because you really need to think about that. Like, and I would expect the same of me if someone is saying, hey, Andrew's a stand-up dude and you should put him in this role, whatever it is, whether it's work or whatever, that I want that person to be able to say, fuck yeah, like he's solid, dude, we're good to go. And if they can't, then I need to go ahead and say, what's wrong with me? What have I done? Because there's not enough self-reflection. That's the problem. Like it's one of the, like you got to know thyself. You got to know, like I'm nowhere near perfect. I think there's a lot of things I know that I'm good at and stuff like that. Just like everyone here on the chat, on the cameras right now. But there's also some stuff that we aren't good at and that we have room for improvement. Not saying we can't get better, but so it's one of those when you're putting these groups together. I think Metal, you posed a great question. It's like, do you trust your family with them? Right. If you're gone, is this dude gonna be like, well, hey, Mrs. Metal, I know he's been in the dirt for about 7 seconds. Johnny Depp had some extra condoms. I was just wondering if you're like, or is he going to be like, hey, how do we help get you through this? Like legit, like, hey, what do we need? Like, what do we need to do? And if you put that, if you kind of like, you take that narrow mindedness and you bring it out and put it to real life, like
Yeah.
Are you encompassing and surrounding yourself with people that are making an impact positively in your life and
Right.
your family's life or your friend's life? And how many of them are just fucking time sucks, right? Like just energy sucks. It's like,
Yep.
God damn, you were just, why are we breathing the same oxygen? What is wrong with you? Like, it's just,
yeah. I only surround myself with good people now. I don't have time for any of that shit.
Well, he's talking to me, so I don't know.
Well, but when it comes to vetting and trust, it needs to be a professional level of vouch and vet. You know, and that's like our mag. We have a document for vetting. We have a process. I've shared it with. I've also shared it with Palmetto Dissident. He's got a great channel too. Anyone that doesn't know, formerly Black Dissident, but Palmetto Dissident. He's a great dude. I've done some peer review on some of his stuff that he's put out and everything, and we share stuff as well. And we're on other sides of the country. He's a great dude. But it's getting that kind of material out that you can now have access to and utilize as a tool to properly to advance and properly assess and vet people is a huge thing. It really is. It needs to be a professional level kind of thing. It does. And
right.
Yeah, because if you don't trust that person to have your back, especially in a more risky line of work, you're sure as hell not going to trust them in an extreme situation where all you have is each other, so
too many people will tuck tail and run and leave you high and dry. And I've always told, and I know Metal's chomping at the bit to say something, but I've told people in my line of work, I'm like, I'll tell you right now, if something goes down and I get my ass beat and I survive, you better not be around. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna fuck you up so bad.
I mean, our jobs in the past, we've had some dudes come through. They pass all the assessment and testing and training and everything, and they get there and they end up just being a total soup sandwich. And it's like, you're done.
That's why I hated 18 X-ray, because you don't get to see Army before SF.
Yep.
That's something that I fucking hated. That I didn't get to see that aspect of things.
Yep.
But like, I have a theory, and I just want to see if you guys in the chat agrees with me on this. If you have that smaller group that you wholeheartedly trust, ride or die, that's your to have your smaller group and then have another smaller group that and those two smaller groups, they come together, and then those two groups establish a ride or die. You're netting the chainmail, so to speak, for community.
Absolutely. That's how you build.
So it's not about having a 50-person mag, because that's going to fall apart. I've seen it. I've been there, done that. It's shit. But if you have that 10-person, for sake of math, 10-person nucleus, but that nucleus, that joins that other nucleus, then you have 20 people strong. But hey, you get in touch with this third mag, then you got 30 people, 35. It's building the chainmail.
It's the same with ODAs. Small teams, multifaceted, multi-capable. They are a multi-tool. They all have multiple.
You literally see where I got that principle from.
Yeah, exactly. I'm on board. Minuteman teams, Minuteman groups should be ODAs to a large degree, apart from implementing further unconventional things. And then what an ODA does, they vet an indige force, they pull out the best, most trustworthy guys, and they work with them. They're not working with everyone typically. They're building that, and then that group builds, and then they can build more and more and more. And then, like you said, chainmail, kind of the chainmail model, which I really like. That's a great analogy. It ends up working, and you end up having a built larger comprehensive group that is far more capable and competent and trustworthy and just meshes together better than a group of people that you have out the gate that they may be able to contribute some things, but at the same time, they have a lot of pitfalls and other things, and you either have to bring them up to speed or it's going to be a sink and swim and they're going to drag everyone, So
Absolutely. And you're going to laugh whenever you hear where I like got that thought. It wasn't like ODA that got me into ODA.
Sure.
Is a Monomarth Shield Wall.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That song got me into that mind space to think ODA and then start.
You can kind of see it right here. I have a Viking sword right here. I have a sword right here. Yep. I got a couple bearded axes too. You good shit. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Exactly. Principles, man. It's the foundation,
Yeah.
And being a big history nerd and obviously, views and beliefs and stuff, and taking a lot from that, and it's absolutely applicable. Shield Wall, very much so. Well, and that's the thing, those, further looking in history at Viking groups and stuff, Viking are, were the raiding parties, but they were still multi capable. They were very much ODA esque. Same with the Ulfheath and the hunters, expert hunters and trackers, and they all had to work together, So it's and keep the community, whether they were staying back within the kingdom and stuff or going abroad, they still had to be symbiotic,
I have a deep Norse history. My 15th great grandfather was Magnus Olafsson the Barefoot.
Hell yeah.
Sigurd the Crusader is, I'm related to those guys.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I don't know how I don't know exact people that far back in my lineage, but my dad's side of the family, great grandparents and all that, they came from Denmark and Norway. So, I mean, that's direct too. And then my dad, or my mom's grandfather, my great grandfather on her side came from the Scottish Highlands. So,
not like your name doesn't tell me.
What's that?
Not like your name doesn't tell me what I need to know about that history.
Yeah, my last name is Danish Norwegian. Yeah, but then the other one, I got the Scottish. For the other side of the family.
That was the thing, is my Norwegian, they went and they raided.
Yep.
And then had kids everywhere else.
Right.
So we ended up with Welsh, we ended up with Scottish, we ended up with Irish, and then my mom's side, they ended up doing the same kind of thing, but they were like Irish descent. So,
and
that's where I got a lot of that concept, was looking at Vikings and looking at Norse mythology and Norse history,
right?
And how they did what they did to when it comes to your mag.
Yep. Absolutely, 100%.
And the shield wall, this coming together, even in a smaller unit. Like, you watch the shows and you see this massive, huge freaking line of shields, and they all kind of like and make like a big turtle on the battlefield.
Yep.
But that isn't how it was. If you look at the Norse history of it,
right,
then you see it's smaller.
Yep.
Shield walls coming together.
Yep. And the Romans adopted that technique.
Yes.
That tactic. They adopted it from seeing what they did. And the Greeks did it a little bit too, but I mean, it was a quintessential foundational tactic for your Norse forces. Yeah.
The Germanic tribes established it.
Yep.
And then the Romans adopted it, the Grecians adopted it, and so on. Exactly.
Exactly. Yep. I love it.
Got a good crowd here, because I literally have family. My dad's mom came over in a boat from Denmark through Ellis Island.
Yep.
No bullshit. No bullshit. Like, so, I mean, I've got my cousin Soren, who's on here. He sometimes watches. He thinks I'm a fucking crazy ass from Texas. Can't associate with me too much, but yeah, man, like it's one of those that's in our blood.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
figuratively.
I actually
and
have the
literally.
drinking horn and all that.
Same,
Like,
same. Yeah, I got all that.
legit,
I
yeah.
got traditional clothing too and everything. I love the living history stuff too. I love that stuff. And
My mother told me. Do you know the song?
uh-huh.
I can sing it in Old Norse.
Oh, nice, nice.
I won't
That's
do it right now, but
no. That's well. It's like I've been teaching myself. I speak fluent German. I've been teaching myself like modern Norwegian and Finnish and stuff because I have a lot of Finnish friends and stuff as well. That like Jeg vil flytte etter Norge or till Norge. You know, I want to travel to Norway. You know, just simple stuff. But
Right.
like, once you build that up, you know enough. And yeah, I'm trying to learn Icelandic too. That's actually kind of hard.
And
But
something I'm throwing out here to the chat and anybody watching this in the replay crew. Learning a language that is ancient, like ancient Greek, Old Norse, things like that. If you're on a comms device, that is amazing fucking brevity.
yes,
And
yes.
encryption.
Mhm.
Just saying.
Rick,
Just saying.
Rick,
I got 3 guys on my squad, on my crew, that can speak like me.
Awesome. That's awesome. I was actually going to come to that point as well, so I'm glad you did. So knowing
Hive mind yet again.
exactly
Hive mind.
exactly. So knowing rarer languages or quote unquote dead languages, they're not quite dead anymore because people do study and speak them now still, or again or whatever. But knowing rarer languages is much harder. Hell yeah. It's much harder for people to understand, obviously. Even a lot of people, speaking German, even a lot of people don't understand German in a lot of ways. Yeah. French. Ich habe 5 Jahre in der Schule gelernt, also ich bin ein bisschen rüstig. Ich kann verstehen und versprechen nicht, mich mit wir und auch, yeah. I could just keep going, but
right.
But like, French and Spanish are the most common global languages apart from English now. Russian, right? What was that?
Si habla español.
Un poquito.
Muy poquito. Es muy bien.
Yeah, muy bien. Yeah. Yo tengo mi grande el gringo en mis pantalones.
We all know that's a stretch. Literally a stretch.
See,
Johnny Depp and Girth Brooks know all about that. Cocker Spaniels.
Dis huevos.
Muy huevos grande.
Got a lot of people in the chat going here. The warrior with the best comment there. It absolutely it explains ACR's man bun. That was good.
That's great.
The one with
learn how
mainly off grid, the Texas Viking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's sweaty. Sweaty Viking.
Sweaty Vikings.
Sweaty. So sweaty.
So some of the channels that we got in here, and I'm gonna throw out mainly off grid. They mainly showed up on my Friday Night Live last week. Just by happenstance, just showed up and just found his people. And then I think I threw out something about Twin Arrows chat the next morning. And he was sitting there subbing to Tin Man and to Twin and everybody. And that's really, like, we talk about these different mags and the different communities. This is what it's about. It's about the folks in the chat. And we don't, like, well, we do, but we don't. Y'all make this happen. Everybody in the chat, everybody that subs, everybody that shares stuff. That's how we all grow. And there's so many great channels out there. There's stuff that I don't know. And if I can go to DJ the Metalhead Mercenaries channel and get some information to make me better, and then I go to TinMan-Metal's channel and get some information, then go to Randall's Little Adventures and Big Bearded Warrior and Twin Arrow Survival and Mainly Off Grid and who else? Cajun Viking and Horsepower Coffee, Lawfully Armed,
TMT.
TMT. That's what's
like,
the next one. So many
Prepared C, Modern Minuteman J,
grunt
Greg
proof.
Proof,
Yes.
AP, anybody.
All
Yeah.
great people. All great people. Yeah, I'm in a big chat with a big private chat with a bunch of those guys. They're awesome. Yeah, this, and I think it was a point that you wanted to bring up at one point, Tin Man, was the quote unquote underground community of all of these
This.
YouTubers, gun tubers, prepared citizens, homesteaders, and all that coming together. It's been really awesome to see. And varying levels of subscriber counts and quote unquote success, within YouTube and all that, and just all the different things that people bring to the table. It's really cool because there are a lot of channels out there, and it's hard. I will admit I can't watch them all, but there's a lot of really, really solid people and channels out there, and it's been awesome to network and share ideas off of each other, get insight about what doesn't work on YouTube, what they think about this X product or Y optic, whatever it is, like having that.
It takes a village.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The chainmail, it's seeing that, and we kind of talked about it and alluded to it a little bit earlier, ACNR and I, when you dipped out a little bit too, but like, seeing all the different things everyone's doing and stuff, and it's really cool because there's always something to look at, always something to learn, always something to kind of lock into the steel trap, so to speak. There's all kinds of stuff, and sometimes what does work for one person isn't going to work for someone else based on where they are or whatever. But you have that spectrum of seeing it from all these different regions and different ways to do things, because there's always multiple ways to skin a cat, so to speak, and like everything, so that's all really cool. It's a really
and the perspective of win in Rome, right? So something that may happen in your neck of the woods or Metal's neck of the woods. Like, so I may watch that video, but like, it's not really playing a factor right now for where I'm at, sweating my ass off in Texas. However, I may not always be here. I may be somewhere else. And now all of a sudden that comes into play. So it's just making you a well-rounded warrior, student, whatever. And so because I get it, there are so many channels. There's so many channels. And if I sat here and watched nonstop videos of everybody's, I wouldn't get fuck all anything done. Like, I mean, I have a great time. Don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoy everybody.
I get caught in the trap. It's like kitty cat videos and puppy videos.
Right. That's or Pornhub. But
when guys building a freaking pool and everything else in the middle of the Amazon at 3:00 in the morning, I'm watching that and I'm like,
I love it.
So
it's great.
So it's funny you say that. So last night, like, man, I was ready to go to bed. I was trying to go to bed early. Had to take care of some bullshit, and I went to So I'm laying down and I bring up YouTube and I go to the homepage, and the first thing that comes up is this. I don't even know where the fuck it was, but they were building yurts, and I was like, oh, I'm about to fucking watch this. And the caption was like, hey, like an affordable house, and it was like start to finish. I was like, what the fuck are they doing that? And then I was like, that's fucking brilliant. Like 22 minutes, they had me just.
Well, that's a cool thing. Yeah, that's a cool thing because there's permanent yurts, and then the Mongolian Khan fashion.
Yeah,
they're nomadic. They take the yurts with them. Yeah, that's really cool stuff.
Pack and plays.
Yeah. There's that guy. There's that one guy. Was it Xander something or another? He's kind of like the modern Les Stroud. He just. Yeah. Recent video. Yeah. Went to a random island in the Indo-Pacific and survived for 3 days. Like, I love that stuff. It's great.
Fun fact: I was actually supposed to be on an episode of Man vs. Wild.
Really?
What?
Remember when they did the Fan vs. Wild?
Oh yeah.
I auditioned for that show.
Huh? Really?
And the producers said that I knew too much about survival. They sent me a T-shirt and a thank you for applying. I'll wear the T-shirt one of these days. It says
Yeah.
I'm with the expert, and it has the with
Yeah.
crossed out, and it's a Man versus Wild shirt that the people that were going to be on the show were going to get.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
badass.
Wow. So when are you doing Naked and Afraid? No,
I don't do naked.
Johnny Deft is doing that, and trust me, everyone's
I get
afraid.
too much chafing from having to tie up the girth.
How are we taking down this tree? Helicopter, helicopter, helicopter. That's how we're taking- No, that's
But no, what you were saying about the YouTube Underground.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a little tiny fish compared to all you guys, but go over to my podcast and I'm a big fish. It's a completely different world. I have more of a presence on Spotify than I do here. But
really? Okay.
oh yeah, like a lot more. If
And-
I'm gonna
and
I'm
pause.
not monetizing YouTube ever. But if anything, I'd monetize, it'd be that.
And if you haven't checked out his podcast, this is the PSA to everybody. You've got about 55 episodes to catch up on.
56.
Well, 55 to catch up to 56. Yeah.
Mhm.
So you've got plenty of entertainment. Yeah. It's great if you've got to drive through places like Houston for fucking hours on
Or
end.
if you're doing something,
Yeah.
throw in an earbud.
Yeah.
There's plenty of comedy there, I assure you. And I make fun of all kinds of stuff. And there's tons of get your butt cheeks tight, get them tight today, thrown in there. Okay. So just be aware.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like even a lot of YouTube and then like other podcasts and stuff, and your podcast, and like I put that on a lot, like in the background if I'm not listening to music, like while I'm working and stuff, like working at home and everything. So it's like I've always got something going on and someone I'm listening
Right.
to or whatever, you know. So yeah.
You do absorb some of that, folks.
Oh yeah.
And what's crazy is I was scrolling through stuff I had like saved in my library, and I listened to Modern Frontiersman's podcast. Somehow, some freaking way, I missed his episode. He has an episode on Modern Frontiersman, Josh's podcast. And I got to listen to that today.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, that's freaking cool.
I think I watched
Krisky
that
used
one
to have
live.
one. Krisky
It
used
was
to
a
have
while
one,
ago.
LARPing live with Krisky, and he nuked it. I'm like, dude, but I love listening to his rants on
YouTube. YouTube nuked it, but yeah.
Well, the podcast on Spotify.
Oh yeah,
it was
Spotify.
separate.
I gotcha. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, he got busy though. He was doing some very cool things though. So
Living his best life.
he is.
Can't
He
fault
is.
somebody for that.
No, not at all.
No,
I fucking love that dude. Like,
yeah,
the conversations I've had with him and stuff, I'm like, dude, I can fucking hug you. I feel like you're like my cousin or some shit.
Right.
We got the same freaking raccoon eyes, so. And somewhere here, I know nobody else has this. I have a pen topper with a freaking Krisky mask on it. So suck it, everyone. I got a cool one.
Well, I've got the prototype Risky Recondo rig. No.
Exactly. That's just saying we're the cool kids.
So we are the cool kids. We're in the cool kids club, that's for sure.
Right.
And I've got an orange. So like whatever.
And that orange came from a tree that grew from the ground.
That he peed on. No.
That I guarantee you, if I ask him, say, hey, hold this other end of the slingshot and we're gonna fucking shoot this at a car, he'll be like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Like,
right.
Say less, motherfucker.
That's right. Like that ACR, he's kind of retarded, but I'd hang out with him again. He's all right. He's a decent guy.
Prepare for the vitamin C.
It takes the vitamin C again, or else it gets the slingshot again.
That's right. Now, wait till he bends over. It'll be better.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm just a domesticated moron. I say it all the time. I'm a domesticated moron. That's all there is to it.
Mm.
There is
Weird.
a hole in the orange.
There is now.
There will be. Warm, warm, warm to the proper temperature.
So the question is, do we get another round of cocktails, or do we keep going?
I got a little bit left here, so
Yeah. Get all the
Like-
points that you guys wanted to cover, and we'll just keep going. I'm good.
full disclosure, TMI maybe for some folks, but literally last time we did the live, we got off. I was talking to ACR in the green room, and I'm like, hold on a second, I gotta piss. It was like a 10-minute lean against the wall, like, oh my god, my kidneys and bladder hate me so much. Why do I do this to myself?
So this is how late ACR was to this, how terrible he was. Here's my notepad, gang. Here's ACR's notes. And ACR hates running without notes.
Oh no.
We have been like it's been fucking with my OCD, and I don't have OCD. I'm just because then it sounds like I need medicine. And I heaven forbid I need that.
I literally grabbed a scratch paper at work and did like 4 things.
Yeah.
So
because I knew exactly what I wanted to talk to DJ about. It's like, nope, I got this.
Anything and everything.
Randall's Little Adventures poured a fresh whiskey, so I say we go for another 23 minutes. And
I'm game.
Yeah. Let's
I'm gonna have to take a pause for the cause because I'm reaching that point again.
Go
I should have done it when my internet was out. But hey, if Twin can literally stand up on a live, walk 10 feet over there and be a fucking bucket.
Do you want piss bottle, man? Come on, why don't you have a piss bottle?
I'm just gonna set up a freaking cath from now on. Just...
Oh no.
I can't do that because I'm old. I'm standing there peeing. People are like, is there a water faucet on? What is wrong with him? It's still going.
I have a narrow urethra, Bobby.
No, it sounds like I'm putting on fires.
Por favor.
Do you think, Chicken Wang?
So funny story, because everyone likes funny stories, especially when it's ACR. I think I've mentioned that there's a house in my neighborhood that recently became an Airbnb. Okay.
Oh yeah, we were talking about this the other day.
So I'm not opposed to people making money, and up until this last weekend, I haven't had any issues, right? And so one night, I think it was after one of my lives, Friday Night Live outside, where Stella climbed on me, and it was a great time. And it's same thing like Metal. I was like, God damn, I got to piss. And I was like, I could go inside, but I'm a heathen, so I'm going to go piss over here in the corner. And so I'm standing there peeing. And so I look across my fence, and I'm looking up, and this house is pretty cool because it has like a little balcony on the front. It's kind of unique, but then it has a sliding glass door and the window's open. And I see 2 people standing there. I'm like, let's see where this goes, because I'm going to be peeing for a minute anyhow. Let me tell you. No, so yeah, this is going to be X-rated. If you got kids watching, turn it off. This dude bent this lady over and is just banging the shit out of her. And so I'm telling my boys about this. They're like, we just stood there and watched. I was like, I had to pee, man. It took me a minute. So like, well, how long were you watching? I was like, well, I finished peeing 17 minutes ago. But after that, like I was,
that was not nearly as bad as last week. Though I did put a Dairy Queen swirl on the top.
Hey-o.
Oh. So did Johnny after watching that live show. But
dude, and that's what, did I not tell you? Like, it's something like 60% of all Airbnbs end up being rented out to make dirty films for any of the platforms out there, OnlyFans or otherwise, or outside marital interactions, where they get something a little hush hush to meet. It's that kind of thing.
Meat. You said meat.
Meat.
Modern Frontiersman has joined us tonight, gang.
Yes.
Welcome, sir.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah. And he came in right on
What's up,
time
bro?
while I was talking about Pornhub and watching the fucking
He always throws the rainbows up.
Yeah.
right.
Here we are, 3 dudes.
Hell yeah.
So funny thing you're talking about there, DJ. So I went out Saturday night. I was hanging with the neighbors. Wife's out of town. I have teenagers. They don't like hanging out with me anyhow. And so I'm drinking with the neighbors, and like it's literally just a bunch of vets, right? Like my neighbor Dennis was
Those are
was
the
in
best, dude.
he was in the teams, like he's a cool dude. And so we're all drinking, and Dennis is like, well, why are you moving your chairs? Like, I want to watch this house. He's like, you mean the Airbnb? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I have a theory. And he's like, I've been drinking and I've had whiskey and I'm listening. I was like, okay. So
Right.
So mind you,
And then dudes across the way, swing.
right. He was there. So no, I was like, so mind you, this was last Saturday. Does everyone remember what was happening last Saturday?
Yeah, the No Kings event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I have a feeling that everyone because it was a huge crowd, like more cars, and it's a long ass driveway like mine. Like they were parked up and down the street. I was like, I think these motherfuckers came in just to protest. Because like, so we rewind about 4 miles up the road from me. They had a protest at one of the intersections. It was like 4,000 people. No bullshit. 4,000 people. And you're like, well, Andrew, what was there? Like some government building? I was like, bitch, it was a CVS. Like, what the fuck, right? It's a pharmacy for those that don't know. And so, like, there's all these people. And I'm like, but why there? Like, what the fuck? And so they all came back. And so we're sitting there drinking. Of course, all the cars, like they all started coming in at the same time. I'm like, and I'm getting everyone riled up because that's what I do. I'm a fucking instigator, right? Especially after I've been drinking. Shocker. I was like, you know what we should do? Daddy's been drinking. I was like, I think it's time for Harry and Stella to go for a walk. And they're like, oh, hell. Oh, so all these motherfuckers are in the street and they're starting to block driveways and shit. And I'm an asshole. I go in and grab the dogs. And I walk out, and it sounds like Michael Vick's house, right? Coming out of my driveway. They're fucking losing their shit. Let me tell you something. That fast, everyone's inside. No, I was like, well, this neighborhood just got a lot quieter. Just like that. But and honestly, they could have been there for some fucking sportings event or something like that. I don't know. But the timeline lined up. And it made sense. And thankfully in our area, we didn't have any bullshit. Like if people want to go out and protest, fucking go protest. Yeah. I don't give a fuck, right? Yeah. Like go do your thing. Just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick. Right. That's my only rule. These two gents know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Most of the no, as BBW put it, no kings, just queens protests. Most of them.
Hey, girl. Hey.
They were all actually protests, and
yeah,
were big nothing burgers. I think the only ones that got spicy, there was one, the one in Salt Lake City where a shooting happened, because some of the
I heard a Utah
protectors, not even licensed security or anything, that were carrying guns for the to protect the protest group. One of them got squirrely and shot at somebody else who was open carrying, which is completely legal to do, and killed somebody. So hopefully they'll go to jail for murder, because they're idiots. The dude posed no threat. And then
It wasn't the NFAC, was it? Whatever happened to them
No.
anyway?
no, they kind of. I don't know. I think they're technically still around, but they don't. Ever since their leader guy made it absolute.
I heard they had a
ignoramus.
bake sale.
Yeah, right. He made it-
You can't say leader guy like that.
Grandmaster
This sounds
Vijay.
so lame. Like his leader guy.
the leader guy. I don't know. I don't remember his name.
Grandmaster Vijay.
Yeah, he made it.
Grandmaster
Grandmaster
Vijay.
Vijay. There we go. He made an absolute ignoramus of himself.
He was like he was a super Halo ODST SEAL Master Sergeant.
Yeah, he made an absolute ass of himself on some lives, and people just shredded him apart, and yeah, so
Flagging
I don't know
freaking
what happened
feds
to
and
that
everything
group,
else,
so.
and
Yeah, but like, yeah, all the no king shit. It was a big nothing burger. It didn't. Nothing happened in my area.
Yeah.
It was a nothing burger. I watched
My area,
the
zero.
I watched the army parade. It was pretty cool for the most part. I really liked the history aspect of it. It was cool seeing some of the new tech that they
Okay.
got. But one thing that hurt me was the marching. The
Yes!
marching. Yes.
yes, fuck,
It was so bad.
fuck.
Oh my god.
I've never seen
No!
him. Animated. He is so worked up.
My God.
Dude, so okay.
The Sarge Y vein came out, folks.
bro. Okay, so if everyone was just walking, okay, I would get it. You know, a leisurely thing. But they had them in formation, and pretty much all the units were trying to march in step.
And
And people
spit all
were
over
not
my
in
screen
step.
now.
Dude, when you saw the Rangers and the
They
Green
weren't
Berets,
even trying.
dude, yeah, when you saw the Rangers and Green Berets, I was like, holy fucking shit! Like, I get it. They do the things, but how are you not squared up on your drilling ceremony? There's like three guys in the front, like looking down at their feet to try and stand step the whole time. It was awful.
See that vein?
Dude, I know the most squared away marching groups were from the military colleges. At the end of the parade, the Citadel, A&M, and like some of those West Point and stuff, they were the most squared away marchers. I was like, what?
It's because they're pulled into doctrine already. They're like in the shit.
Oh, it was so
when it comes
bad.
to be rank and file and like this is how you have to be. The other guys are like,
yeah, like I was fucking radared in on everybody who was trying to get in step that wasn't in step, and like shifting and like everything. I was like, ooh, if you were just gonna leisurely walk, everybody just willy-nilly dick to the wind back on the block walk, okay, cool, but everybody's trying to be in step. And they were in
I'm surprised they weren't like grooving and shit, like as they're like
right. Oh, some
like
of the guys
moonwalking and shit. Just hold up the stress card, be like, yo.
Dude,
I
ain't got my PT belt on and I'm in the streets.
Dude.
It almost sounds like you're getting ready to say the Coast Guard march is better than the Army. That's what it sounds
At
like.
this point,
maybe nowadays, but I mean, dude, that was the worst thing about the parade was that everything
Painful.
else was cool as shit, but
exactly what Robert said. Marching in step is different than route in step. That's exactly what we're getting at.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Yeah, it was bad, and it's like
we'd have been mopping the fucking parking lot in the rain in my day.
Right, exactly. Vacuuming snow, yeah, like
Vacuuming snow.
dude,
legit.
Yeah. Exactly, you get it. Like there's something about being able to march in step. It's a pride thing for one, but it's also it shows discipline and memory. Like, how do you not? They had people calling cadence. What are you doing?
You can fall into a cadence. I was in military and I was in marching band. Okay, I was a drummer in a marching band.
Oh, okay.
When I went into the military, I was fucking on because of marching band.
Yeah, being a musician helped too because you know how to keep time and be in step. Yeah, but I mean,
exactly.
Most people in general.
But anybody else, like you can at least
I mean, they
You can at
beat
least
it
do
into
that.
you anyway. It gets beaten into you anyway.
Yeah.
You know, in basic and AIT, it gets beaten into you. There's no excuse. There's no excuse.
I mean, even I can call my own cadence. Hup, 2, 3, 4. What the hell are we fighting for? Tin Man,
Maybe do bring back 4-wall conferences. God damn.
right?
I was waiting for Metal to break out in a cheer there for a second.
I left my home to join the army.
The yellow bird.
Jesus.
That's my favorite cadence of all time. Is the yellow bird.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Legit.
It's good though.
Legit.
Oh yes.
It's one of those.
anyone
If
who
you know,
doesn't
you know.
Yeah. If anyone doesn't know the yellow bird cadence, go look it up.
There was a young cat. He like, I left my home. He like made it into a song.
Yeah.
And he did it with like TMR, which was really cool. The Marine rapper. Like,
Now,
if you haven't listened to like the Marine rapper and like Topher and D-Cure and those guys, all veterans, they came together to form Space Force. And if you're into any kind of rap,
yeah,
that's the only rap I tolerate anymore.
not a rap guy.
That and maybe Tom McDonald.
Even him, like I just can't do rap. Okay. You
I
can
only do it because of the
that's
kids.
cool. Like, yeah, it's nice.
Dude.
I've been listening to drain pipes and pig squeals too long, I guess. So,
But see, for me, it's I listen to that versus the bitches.
oh, mumble rap is awful. Gosh, Modern Frontiersman and I were talking about mumble rap the other day and how terrible it is.
Oh no, sure.
Modern Frontiersman, Josh was real heavy in the southern hip hop scene back in the day, and I mean he still makes beats and everything. You know, there's a lot of us that are actually musicians, which I think is really cool in this community. But yeah, no, I thought that was funny too. Yeah,
the only thing I can play is with myself. Just so y'all know.
What's that?
The only thing I can play is with myself. Just so y'all know.
I'll give you the triangle. You're fine.
Oh, fuck
At least you don't play the swinette. At least you don't play the swinette. It's a string stretched over a pig's ass and you pluck it with your teeth.
Like no talent. Like it's one of those. But like
he's playing the skin flute. It's fine.
That's right. No, but I can appreciate
the bagpipe, not the bagpipes. The bagpipe.
That's right. I can appreciate music and like DJ was talking about. I can appreciate art. Now I don't necessarily always understand it, but I can look at something and be like, yeah, that's pretty awesome, you know. And I talk about it with, especially like when I'm talking beer and like some of the different artwork on the beer cans and stuff like that and the bottles. I'm like, y'all put some thought into that. That's pretty awesome. I'm really just a basic bitch, to be honest with you. I'm not that sophisticated. It's a miracle I can wipe my own ass. But yeah.
So I guess fresh off the press here, still waiting. I got to look up some confirmation, but reports are the decision for the U.S. to bomb Iran have been made.
Who made that call?
I don't know. I got to find
It's
more.
supposed to go through Congress. It's supposed to go through Congress.
It's supposed to, but there's only been a few times in the past, 70, 80 years where it has. So,
like, hey, what are you doing, Phil? I'm bombing the fuck out of somebody. What are you doing?
My next door neighbor, I've talked about her before, Vaughn and Haley. She's an Air Force vet. Her brother is currently in.
Right.
And she asked me, she's like, are we going to World War III? And I said, no. My outlook, I've talked about it on the podcast. If you guys join me over there, you'll hear all the schizo shit and where I can go deeper into things. And I can let my beard down a little bit. But are we going to World War III? I don't think so. I think we're going into a hybrid war.
Yeah.
If anything. It's going to be world, it's going to be revolution, and it's going to be civil.
Yeah.
Not civil, but a civil war.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hybrid war, unlike anything ever seen.
More proxy conflicts, much like Ukraine and Russia. More proxy conflicts, which is the name of the game. There's a lot of
whatever happened to that. We haven't heard that in the news.
All right, they're trying to ignore. I mean, I have friends in Ukraine. I have Ukrainian friends, and
right.
I still pay very close attention to what's going on over there, and there's been some major operations lately that have made the news and stuff, like the very, very creative drone deployment from the semi truck trailers, targeting
Yes.
Siberian air bases and other places. Um, so yeah,
Potential here too, folks, because think of the Chinese land
Oh,
that was
sure.
bought around bases and around
Yeah.
Sweat MC targets. You
Yeah.
understand Sweat MC?
Yep. Yep.
Just
Well,
saying.
and then the cargo, the container vessels being turned into troop transports, and the
Club K's and
the logistical bridge building ships that the Chinese are doing for possible Taiwan events soon. Like there's all kinds of stuff going on, and there's a number of other proxy conflicts that people aren't paying attention to that are happening all over. Obvious, well, and a continuation of GWAT all over Africa, and and then stuff with Myanmar. There's a number of active things still going on. So there's just going to be an expansion of conflicts around the globe. Nothing, and I agree with you. Nothing, I think, that will be even utilizing, like, say, tactical nukes, which are much smaller scale nuclear weapons. I don't even foresee those being used.
No.
With the Iran
Dirty
thing and
some
lawfully,
stuff maybe.
right, and lawfully armed asked about it earlier. With the Iran thing, it's been agreed on for a while by the US and other nations, not just Israel or whoever else, that Iran should not have nuclear weapons. But it's a little bit hypocritical, and I think it should apply the same for other nations, to include Pakistan, that do have nuclear weapons that probably shouldn't have nuclear weapons.
Commercial, yes. Military, no.
Right. Well,
for power, sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For energy, fine. Once you go into
Yeah.
enrichment for weapons, that's a problem. We're trying to denuclearize as a nation here, and Russia has agreed to as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
China was actually thinking about it too. So was North Korea.
They were considering it. I mean,
Turkey as well.
Yeah. Well, and with the recent stuff that happened between India and Pakistan, that's a problem too, because those are two nuclear nations. And India and China also have contested borders. Whether that's going to go hot at any point, I don't think so, apart from the fisticuffs that happen at the border as is. But yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But India and Pakistan, I mean, that could get very kinetic again. What happened, I think could definitely escalate again if whatever talks fail, someone decides to be an idiot, and something kicks off. And that's again, that's aside from everything else that'll be going on that has the potential to happen. With Iran, just like we've seen, it'll be if indeed they have decided that we're going to get involved in that to that degree, it'll be much like the Houthis. It's going to be targeted airstrikes for an X period of time, and then that'll be it.
And here's something I explained to my neighbor. She was a C-17 baby. She was on the crew on one of those.
Yeah.
We see our fuelers go first. Then we see our heavy lifts take the heavy equipment, artillery, armor. Then we see the troops and the cargo and the supplies for troops set up FOBs in the interim, and then poof, we have phases.
Yeah.
We're in phase 2 right now.
Right.
Only got 2 more to go.
Right. Well, yeah, and it's I've kind of detailed that before, and like it's basically a 7-point template, to a global scale conflict, a world war, so to speak. So, I mean, you've got your economic tensions, your economic warfare, sanctions, everything else that gets compiled into that, and economic warfare, subversion, espionage. You've got a degradation and failure of diplomatic policy and means. You then have your R&D and then fielding of new weapons technologies, which also plays into the next point: proxy conflicts, escalation of proxy conflicts, and involvement there. After that would be a major or a series of major catalyzing events to which then moves to the next point of a declaration of war and then immediate deployment of special and covert operations, and then after that is full-scale kinetic conflict. That's a 7-point system.
I cannot confirm nor deny that we already have assets on the ground for
Oh
that.
no, totally do. To what degree, covert operations and intelligence operations and things like that, those are always ongoing. It's the more direct,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. The more direct,
Yep.
So
No, absolutely.
yeah. So it is kind of is what it is, And hold on, there was something. Robert Ham, he brought up about the shaving thing for the military regs. Honestly, I would like to see the option of just being able to have a well-groomed beard in the military, much like Scandinavian nations and otherwise. I don't think it detracts from professionalism wearing the uniform at all. I hate shaving, and it's quite miserable, especially in summer and winter. It sucks shaving in winter. I think if it's well groomed and it looks good, presentable with the uniform, I think it should be totally fine.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Especially like the seagoing services and stuff. Like, anytime I linked up with like Canadian or British naval units, they always had beards. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's such bullshit. So we lost Metal for a minute. We're not sure if he had to go pee or with his little tiny bladder, he had to go use the boys' room again. Yeah.
The bladder of a field mouse, it's very small.
Smallest bladder. It's like my hands is the smallest bladder. I need to bring my son in. My son rivals Metal's impression of Trump. It's so funny.
Oh yeah,
because he comes in, he's like, "I love the black men," and he, of course, coming from a mixed kid, it's even funnier. I'm like, God damn, you're fucking spot on. And then he's in the know with the politics. It's so much fun. I'm not trying to get into politics, but
your kid gonna grow up to be a comedian? Is he gonna be on Kill Tony in the next couple of years?
Right. Right. So my middle brother is actually a comedian, believe it or not. Yeah. He's actually very good. The best part about my brother being a comedian is the fact that his wife thinks I'm funnier than he is. And as long as I die knowing that, I'm okay. That's like,
funny.
Like, it's one of those, like, the little picture of like, gotcha, bitch. Like, you better get another beer. Do you have any dead soldiers I have lined up next to me right now?
I know I'm getting low here. I need to eat supper at some point too. I haven't eaten yet, so
supper, whatever, queer. No, I do too. I'm waiting for Metal to come back on. I don't know if he had to. Yeah. He had to go kick those hamsters in gear to get that shit going.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah, if he's got any more points to talk about that he had for me, I can rapid fire him real quick and then we can get out of here. That way we're not eating up too much of the night and everyone can spend some time.
Yeah, he's working on reestablishing connection. In the meantime, we're going to give him a hard time.
He's got to switch to AT&T or something. Xfinity sucks.
So I think it's all about the region because I have Xfinity here. In fact, my cell phone.
Interesting.
I recently switched from AT&T to Xfinity on my cell phone.
Yeah.
About a year ago, and I'm saving like over $100 a month by going to them. Yeah, so. I think a lot of it's regionalized, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, we were talking about that yesterday, and it makes sense. Yeah, because here it's Spectrum and AT&T. I think you have the option with Verizon and stuff too if you want, but those are the big two. My cell provider is well, it was Sprint, but that's owned by T-Mobile now, so it's T-Mobile. And uh, I'm on the friends and family plan with the family for my phone, so it's like next to nothing, you know. Um, yeah, so yeah, it does depend, but I know AT&T is pretty much nationwide, you know, so I'm not sure. There's got to be options
Yeah.
other than that, especially if he's having uh such consistent issues over time. I think there should be some other options there.
So I had AT&T for over 20 years,
Yeah.
and I loved them. Before that, I had Verizon, um, and it took me a long time to switch from AT&T. But like I was trying to work out a deal with them,
Uh,
and they're like, "Yeah, we're not bending." I'm like, "You're an idiot. You've had a customer for 20 years. What the fuck is wrong with you?"
right.
Welcome back, sir.
I'm
Did
back.
you go pee again or?
No, no. I wish. I wish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Them some
wish.
tits.
Y'all know what it was. I
Yeah.
literally
Yes.
got a freaking pop up on my thing saying, "Sorry for the interruption in your connection. We're working to restore it." I'm like,
So y'all should thank me because I got a pop up saying big titted hookers click here, and I was like, "Arr! Arr!
Would you like to know more?
Would you like some more?"
Russian singles in your area looking
right.
to connect.
You're lucky
Guys,
I wasn't licking the screen. That's all I'm saying, folks.
I'm
Like,
going to
come on.
play one sound clip from the virtual Riverside studio. And literally every time that it starts cutting out, this is what plays in my head when it decides to play because of my internet. It's already playing for me. If it ever does.
Yeah, nothing.
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 Literally, it was the intro, like the Sweet Dreams,
Yeah.
Manson. That's what plays in my head every time I have connectivity issues
Damn.
because it takes me back to that dark place.
Yeah.
And see, some guys get that cool title of GWAT. I got that subcategory title of pre-Watt.
Pre-Watt. Yeah.
So we kind of defer back to the boys before us and the whole paint it black thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in twat. So
T-Watt. I've been in T-Watt a few times.
Johnny Depp lives there.
I have the
Jesus
participation trophies to show it too, okay? Other people call them kids, but
Christ. Oh yeah, I got the dead soldiers, the panties hanging up back at no. Wait.
I believe it. He opens his closet and there's nothing but like a whole assortment organized in color so it shows a rainbow.
And you get a thong, and you get a thong, and you get a thong.
Fucking A.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Did you have any closing notes or comments or questions for
Yeah, was there any
DJ the
other
Metalhead Mercenary?
any other points we needed to cover? I can rapid fire them real quick.
Follow his channel, subscribe, make sure you do the things. Don't just check out his like cool guy Minuteman type shit. Check out his music too. Because
All of
coming
it.
from a guy
Appreciate
that's like a musician and not just metal, rock, I play country, I play pop, I play all the stuff, the funk, the hip hop, the R&B. I play it all. Check out his channel.
Thank
He's
you.
got some fucking awesome metal shit.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I did songs for Randall Grumproof, the Grumproof soundtrack. Like 3 of the 4 songs
Yeah.
are songs I did for him. Yeah, I play in I'm in like 10 active projects. Only a couple play shows. The rest are studio projects. But yep.
Do this guy a huge favor and do more with the guitar on shorts. Oh,
I don't do a lot of shorts, but I do intend to do more guitar videos.
If you do guitar videos, do some shorts too, because
Oh,
that's fucking awesome.
I don't do a lot of my phone. I don't have a good phone for that. I have a very special kind of phone that I
You
can
do.
remove the battery from and everything. It is a smartphone, but
Smart-ish phone.
yeah, well, it is a smartphone, touchscreen, and all that stuff. But it's much smaller. It's ruggedized. I can remove the battery from it. I can change SIM cards, remove SIM cards, like all that stuff. The camera on it though is terrible, and I cannot do videos with it. The shorts that I do have, they're all.
I have like 10 fucking phones over here.
Yeah, the shorts,
one of which is a Kyocera Dora Force 3.
Okay.
Flip.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's a fucking Decepticon. You better get rid of that shit. That's all.
All the shorts on my channel are actually videos taken with friends' cell phones that they then sent me. Right. Because I don't do any otherwise. But I will do some more guitar videos. Absolutely.
Even some short form videos of
so
fucking great.
I was just gonna say that because we were talking about channel stuff earlier, so I'm a fucking nobody. Everyone needs to know that. But with stats and everything as far as like making your channels better, dude, if you take whatever video you do and then turn it into a short, the attention span of the sheeple, they fucking love it. Like I'm telling you, and I'm serious.
Hey, a castle. Hey, a castle. Hey, a castle. Hey, a castle.
Right, but take what you've already put together and do a quick short, and then it's like, oh, hey, I like that. Let me go dig deeper into and it just helps you grow. I
can't make shorts videos even with my editing program. I use Power Director. It doesn't allow me to format it to a shorts format video. Yeah, it's weird.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's a proper like video editing program, but
yeah,
I can't make vertical scaling shorts videos with it.
So I do want to talk. So Randall's Little Adventures. This is a shameless plug to both he and I.
It's not shameless. It's a well-deserved plug.
It's a well-deserved Texas meetup.
It's our brother Randall. Damn it.
November 14th through the 16th, Mill Creek Park, Brooklyn, Texas. Myself and Randall will be there. I promise to wear pants. I don't promise. I don't.
He doesn't promise to wear pants.
We'll be at Site 20.
They're optional, folks. They're at Site 20. Hang your pineapples.
That's it. Yeah, I can't even think now. That's pretty good.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Anyone, so again, I know logistics are a bitch. Anyone that wants to make it, hit me up, shoot me an email. Let me see how I can help facilitate it and make it more easy for you to do. If you want to go, just let me know and let me see how I can help. Randall will do the same thing. Randall just told me pants are not optional. He's hurting my feelings a little bit. It's all right.
They're suggested.
Where's Big Bearded Warrior? I'm going to wear my Hoochie Daddy shorts, which are
as long as you don't wear your daddy hoochie shorts.
That's right. But no,
a red outfit.
That's right. That's right.
Smuggling plums.
It should be a good time. I'll talk more about it on Friday night. But yeah, I know Randall wanted to get that out there. Warrior's going to be there. Any of y'all that can make it, please screenshot that information from your device there so that you can show up and you'll probably have a good time. You probably won't remember it, but you'll have a good time because the Ether Bunny may show up.
Does this rag smell like chloroform to you? Oh shit, wrong rag. So DJ, anything else you got, brother?
Not really. I mean, if we covered all the points and anything, if you guys had any other questions, Yeah, freaking thanks for having me on. Make sure
was
anybody
awesome, man.
who's new to this live stream, you subscribe to these guys as well. Point whichever direction. Subscribe to them as
everybody
well.
here.
I'll be sharing the link to this live in my community stream, community post hub after the fact as well. I do with all of them that I go on. And yeah, thanks for having me on, and fucking listen to more metal.
Yes.
Read more books.
Yes.
Travel.
There
the
is a
world,
lot of
meet
enlightening
people.
shit in metal music.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Just saying. If you don't understand the lyrics because of this type of vocal, look up the words.
Yeah.
There's amazing poetry in there. There's amazing stories in there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And
Us metal type guys, we do it for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. People who listen to metal actually tend to have a higher IQ anyway, which is actually
do.
Classical music.
What are you talking about?
Classical music and metal. There's been studies. I'm just saying.
No.
I sang a holiday Inn last night.
Don't bother me when I'm cleaning my room. So
and I guess the other thing is more updates with Fractal Spectral
Yes.
Camouflage Systems coming soon.
Keep
Can't
us
wait for
posted.
that.
We'll keep these folks posted.
Yeah. Can't wait.
I just want to say, subscribe to everybody. So this was a little bit off
longer.
off the trail a little bit, because I will tell you right now, I busted DJ the Metalhead Mercenary about every time I talked to him. I was like, give me a fucking topic. Where's the girl? Where's it? Like,
where is it?
and so but we did kind of come to a compromise. It's been a fun evening. A lot of
We
good
had
stuff.
a randomosity cool ass freaking volume 9.
Yeah.
And
World's your
the
oyster.
best part, we have a new pal. Like, I mean, DJ the Metalhead Mercenary, it has been a pleasure, good sir. Thank you so much. You're welcome anytime, as far as I'm concerned. Are we slapping each? We doing that? Are we doing that now? Is that what we're doing? The hair.
I'll be glad to pop in anytime.
Is that what we're doing?
Encino Man showed up, guys. Encino Man showed up in the end. So
Cheers.
final
Ladies and
toast,
gentlemen.
folks. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you, DJ, for joining us. ACR, thank you for
Thanks for having me.
Metal. Always a pleasure.
being the producer and the
Here we go.
Done.
skull.
And water, because hydrate.
Water sucks. It really, really sucks.
Gatorade.
Gatorade.
You guys can check my fucking balls. I ain't drinking your goddamn water. You guys.
Okay. Thank you, Kat.
Thank you, Kai. Screw you guys. I'm going home.
You know the Aussie song, Mama, I'm coming home? Yeah, I always sing it. Screw you guys, I'm going home when I'm at work.
That's awesome.
And the guys lose their shit.
That's awesome.
Every time it comes on the fucking radio, they're like, they're waiting for it. They're waiting for it. And I always deliver.
Chat, if it weren't for the chat, if it weren't for the chat, the replay crew, everybody, we would be nobody. I mean, hell, I'm still a nobody, but anyhow, awesome chat. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the replays. DJ the Metalhead Mercenary, if you're not on his channel, you're probably under a rock over there in a fucking third world country. Go fucking sub to his channel.
If we're sub to it, you should be sub to it, damn it.
Metal, TinMan-Metal, the host, the man with the most, putting all this shit together for all of us. Thank you, sir. As always, go sub to his channel. Join him
ACR
Sunday.
Protect. Sunday, noonish.
Yes.
For live. I'm probably gonna talk about things, stuff, and whatnot. So you might want to listen to that.
Ooh,
My favorite.
And if you aren't subscribed to ACR Protect, please do so, because he's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And he's a great friend of mine. So
Yeah.
do that.
And he's kind of retarded, so you're helping the handicap. So
He matches my weird. He
Seriously,
matches my
it is-
weird really well.
y'all are the best. It's always a good time. Thank you all so much. Happy Wednesday. You're welcome for getting
welcome.
you.
We got you to
halfway
hump
through the
day.
week. It's hump day. So you
We
should,
got you there. The three of us got you to hump day. Remember that.
yes.
Yeah.
And we will
And-
see you on all of our channels. If you're a good American, don't be a bad American.
Be a good
Who likes
silly
bad
Sally.
Americans?
Nobody likes a bad American. Everybody loves a silly Sally.
Yes. Yes.
So I got nothing else for you guys. Okay, final thing. Y'all see what I did there? Consumables. If you're buying all kinds of high-speed cool guy shit, stop. Don't do that. Buy the things that are going to sustain you and your family. Dog food, cat food, medical, food for yourselves, medicine for yourselves, gauze, things like that. Gasoline, because the little waterway over there in Iran where they transport all the oil, yeah, gas prices are going to go so you should probably have a little bit of petrol stored up for some reasons. Okay, your consumables, start stocking up on your consumables versus just buying all the high speed gear shit. Okay, just because somebody in skinny jeans that formerly isn't in skinny jeans, but who knows what kind of pants he's going to wear in the future, and somebody in a
need to
lab
stand
coat
up?
with pit vipers says buy this, do that, or a couple guys that offshot from the guy with the short arms, don't do what they're saying. Do what makes sense. We talked about the YouTube underground here earlier. Channels like ours, we're telling you the real truth from our ground level.
Yep.
We're not talking from like a media company standpoint that's paid X amount of dollars to just say shit and do shit. Get the consumables, the things you need and you consume. Consume.
And have
You feel-
serviceable equipment.
You
Yes.
feel me? You feel him?
Do it. Do it.
Just do it. I have that sound bite, but I can't play it.
Yes. Special thanks to Grace, Grit Grace, through all of our channels in at the end here on the chat because she's
Thank you,
awesome.
Thank you.
Special thanks to the chat, all of you.
Neighbor, your first round is on me when we get together, which will be fairly soon. Hopefully, maybe like around 4th of July, we could do something. So,
And hopefully it's
we'll talk.
whiskey. Give her whiskey.
My email's in the channel. Hit me up, sister. We'll get the families together and have fun.
Awesome. Gang, it's been a pleasure. Happy Wednesday. Thank you to the gentlemen on either side of me, wherever that
The
is.
guys on that side of me.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for episode what?
9, volume 9.
9. And,
Nine.
y'all are the best. Take care. We will catch you next week
Metal
for
up.
another
Whiskey Wednesday.
Wednesday. Take care.
So until next time, metal out.
Bye.